It's that time again. ICL on a Wednesday. JDZ's favorite ICL night of the week. Close to Tuesday in day of the week and amazingness. I don't know which one I like more, but I like them both. Today we have an excellent matchup of the Lazyboys versus Enter the Battlefield. With Enter the Battlefield solidly in first place with a 6-1 record, and the Lazyboys trying to knock them down a peg, and would steal first place with a victory here by passing them on tiebreakers, because they're in third place with a 5-2 record. Both teams are used to such pressure and doing quite well in the ICL. Should be a fantastic match tonight. But let's play that favorite game. We Guess That Caster. Currently, I'm here by myself. Can you tell who it is? TJ Parker, one of those names might be right. We shall see, we shall see. You're right, it's me. Here with a wonderful, wonderful co-host of Nobody Yet, but they will be coming soon enough. And we're gonna pop on over quickly here to the match so we don't miss it in case they decide to start early. Or I'll just stay here. I've got a minute or two. I think I can wait. I probably would, actually, if you're not playing. I think we let... I guess Fumbles did yesterday's day after, but you never know. I tend to not actually let that fully happen. So we shall see, we shall see. As the players are getting ready, and we've just got about 4 minutes till we go, I'm really interested in this. I'm going to have to root for the loungers here, and it's kind of a cop-out if you have watched me root for teams before. I can never actually root for ETB directly, and whenever I don't root for them, they win. So it is what it is. Will the Poos and a Lounger take down the sword and shield of the mighty Enter the Battlefield? We shall see. We shall see. Should be an excellent night. Some close games here. We're going to be seeing Dan versus Chris in the first round. Dan representing the Lazyboys, and Chris as the owner and representative of Enter the Battlefield. I'm going to pop over to the game here. In a little bit, I'll be joined by my lovely co-host. But until then, we'll be here watching, and this is another week of Core. Round 9 next week will be Infinity, and the rounds after that will be 2 more of Core. Then the new set will drop, and we will be to our top cut, and we'll only be playing Infinity till the DLC. We should be also finishing our finals a week and a half before the DLC. So you should be able to see some amazing Infinity lists going out there. Oh, and he pops right into existence immediately. I didn't realize I had that camera on, so welcome, JD.
Yo, it's good to be here, Luke.
Always
Sorry for being late, man. I was running late on the stream, and I'm having some camera issues. I just bought some new equipment, and it's hard to connect it to VDO for some reason. So we're gonna get that worked out, but no big deal. It doesn't connect to video.
It looks and sounds good right now.
Sick. All right, all right, all right. And we got ETB versus the Loungers. I heard you say you don't root for ETB. I'll do it for the both of us. I think ETB, they're going for the three-peat, the rare and indigenous back to back to back in 3 seasons, 3 wins versus the Loungers. Chris, fresh off of the CCQ victory up there in Canada, and see if they can parlay some of that. Maybe playing some more Amethyst Steel.
It's going to be hard for anyone to want to have to play against someone who just won a CCQ. Like, they're on the top of the meta, finger on the pulse of the meta. They've got what it takes to win and crush. It's not who you want to play against. You want an easy win at first.
I think Dan. I think Dan is up to the task. Back on some amethyst cards, a strategy I know he's very confident with. So seeing what that other color is going to be, that he's going to be playing with. But we are going to get the Captain Hook and the Christopher Robinson underdog. So still on amethyst steel. Maybe this is a nice amethyst steel mirror match to start off the ICL on a Wednesday.
Yeah, normally I would say the person on the play would be advantaged here, but when you don't play your own character, and this is Blurple or Blue Steel? I can't remember. Was the first card inked Amethyst or Steel?
Yeah, it was Elsa, Fifth Spirit. So triple sell the Azurite Sea out of the way, and we have a nice trusty one-cost character to complete the prophecy. The Royal Guard is going to be able to check down this Chris Robinson 2 next turn if there's another draw option available. So curving into a Genie could be nice to take out this Chris Robinson. Chris might have to think about going on this quest next turn. But Luke, I got to ask, how you liking this new set so far with these reveals we've had?
Lots of fun new cards coming down. A second Christopher Robin. And we're just going to call that bluff here. Have that Genie or not, you're not going to be able to answer both of them.
They've never not had it. I'm telling you, he's 100% Genie inbound for sure. This thing is going to definitely get a draw. And Tipo, another ramping card into the Inkwell early. And we didn't have it.
Chris just had that soul read.
Well, we are going to just take a little opportunity to go ahead and plug some damage into this Chris Robinson just to set him up for a next turn takeout. Keeping that lore total down from Chris is probably high priority for Dan.
Well, this is kind of an interesting spot. I would be tempted to take the trade, because if Dan just drops down a kitty cat and moves that damage off of the Royal Guard onto the Christopher Robin, it's just a clean hit here. It's going to be quite tempting for Chris. He still wants to keep the character for other uses, but he's just going to turn it in for more lore. If you want to spend all of your ink on the Cheshire Cat to take out my Christopher Robin, so be it.
And just continuing to quest, or maybe we even go for the Elsa Fifth Spirit coming in this next turn. We saw one go down to the Inkwell a little bit earlier on, but just completing that curve. You've hit all your markers so far. Wouldn't be shocked or surprised to see if you got another 5 cards. Even a Hades here, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Just to potentially draw some more cards.
This is interesting. If Dan has the cat, he can move the damage from Christopher Robin onto the Calhoun, banishing it, and then just challenge the Christopher Robin with a Tigger. It's quite interesting that Chris has now twice just said, you don't have it. You're representing it, but I don't believe you. And I feel if Dan had the Cheshire Cat, it would be in play right now. Like, unless he's really tanking on what he needs to ink. This is a precarious spot.
That is a very fair point. And the Elsa, the 5 ink card is going to go down to the Inkwell. We are playing a little bit behind curve now, but we just want to get another bounce in. I like your play a lot better, so clearly there's no Cheshire Cat in hand, and there is a great way to maybe pay attention to what your opponent is doing. Maybe you can gain some additional information based on how they're playing. But this is an interesting way that you can build this deck. I don't think I've seen this many Tiggers in this Sapphire Amethyst deck. Very much geared to potentially go after the dog players, but also not bad into potentially the Clarabelle stuff that ETB is known to play.
Yeah, and one thing to note here is Chris has played this deck a lot, and it's quite possible that he's been put in the position where if he plays around the trick, he might just get so far behind it's just as bad as the trick. So it really appears that he's just kind of playing to be like, have it. I'm tired of you representing this. I'm just going to play into it and hope you don't have it. And if you don't have it, maybe this extra lore I'm going to get is going to be enough. But in Chris's spot, I would have been quite tempted to have traded my Christopher Robin with the Royal Guard, even if it's not that good of a play, just to play around the Cheshire Cat. And I probably would have been punished for that, as Dan didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But an Angel here.
That is an absolute very fair point. Make them have it is something I've heard you say multiple times, and a lot of great players do play with the make them have it philosophy, because every now and then, especially in this game, more often than not, they're going to have it. But every now and then they're not going to have it, and Dan just did not happen to have it there. And I was just going to speak on how this position for Dan was looking very nice, but now we get this Angel on the board now, and it's going to make it look a bit more vulnerable. She's going to be able to start picking these characters off turn by turn.
Yeah, it's you don't ever want to be in a make them have it position, though. I personally don't like putting myself in that, because if they have it, you normally lose. But you have to be able to find those positions, find the play that can get you there.
And in that situation, they just so happen to not be in a spot where they had to worry about that. Now you have this Angel experiment 624, I believe, hanging out. Was it 6-2?
Yep, you got it.
624, just kicking it. And this card right here has been was stomping my ears together this weekend during my set championship run. This card, I cannot believe when we revealed it. Feels like just yesterday we were revealing Winterspell cards. Now here we are talking about revealing the Wilds Unknown. I thought this card was going to be bad, and I was so very wrong. And I feel like I'm going to be wrong again on a lot of my takes coming into this next set.
Well, JD, when you play Show Me More, it really makes your opponent's Angels a lot better. So
I didn't even play Show Me More this weekend. I didn't even play it, as we do get that Demona now. I believe Chris should be able to get some card draw as well after that discard. Tigger now. No, we had cards in. Oh, Demona gives the cards in hand, and now Tigger is able to clear that no resist from that Angel.
The Demona also might have only given one card, if even. I think Chris might have just had 3 cards still in hand. So that was an all right Demona for sure. Like with the multiple Tiggers bouncing cards back 2 turns in a row, it kind of kept Chris's hand full.
So getting maximum use out of your Demona, Scourge of the Wyvern Clan, one of the best cards in the game, coming in from that Winter Spell set, or excuse me, Whispers in the Well set. Now Dan seems to be in a quite comfortable position, staring down nothing but a Calhoun and a Christopher Robinson.
I mean, this is what Chris needs, is Dan to have just drawn a bunch of 1-drops, do nothings. But even then, it's kind of rough, because then he can start questing. This Demona kind of makes all of Chris's characters laughably small looking right now.
And this one is another problem. Elsa now will be able to get rid of the bigger threat of Calhoun, and also, more importantly, stacking up some damage for that Cheshire Cat that you didn't have before. You probably got it now, and this Christopher Robinson is staring up against Oblivion, Demona, Elsa, and Basil. The tides are shifting. Dan pulling out ahead, inking the Basil now, getting up to that critical 7 ink threshold for a Hades the Infernal Schemer. Chris now has to figure out a way to get out of this sticky jam. Oof. Captain Hook might not be able to do it.
All right, Doc, let's do it. It's kind of a rough spot, just having these itsy-bitsy characters. Like, Chris wanted to be at double this lore by this point with the way Dan's board is shoring up. But Chris was on the draw, and it's kind of hard to snag that one victory. But if he's able to chain a couple Docs in a row or another source of card advantage, we inked a Demona to play a Kitty Cat. That's an interesting play. Like, I'd kind of want that Demona in play next turn to refill, but the cat also does a lot of work here.
For sure. And at least, babe, maybe you could have used that Demona to go ahead and freeze up your Dan's Demona in the event that you had, in the event that you were able to set that play up, and obviously you weren't going to be able to get rid of this Demona any other way. But now you have to kind of hedge yourself, or at least try to insulate yourself from a Hades the Infernal Schemer coming down on the following turn, or another Demona would actually be quite good. No, I think Chris is holding hands together. I can't see how many cards are in Chris's hand. I believe
Chris has no cards, and Dan has 2. Last turn, Dan inked, played a Basil, and an Elsa, dropping him to 1 card and he draws. So I think Chris was just trying to get a soul read that it was another Demona as Tigger number 3 comes down, bounce that dock away, not letting you easily trade with my Demona, and we're just getting an easy quest. Oh, let it go singing on the kitty cat. Oof.
And now the board is looking extra solidified. So we have the Blurple strategy. Probably no genies in this deck, electing to go with these Tiggers, who seem to be a better match for the current installment of the meta that we find ourselves. I mean, the Tiggers have great plays against the dog strategies, great plays against this Amethyst Steel deck, as we are clearly seeing. So maybe that's the version that Dan is electing to go for, as the Basil now being exerted by the Elsa. Captain Hook makes his triumphant return for the 2nd time in a row. And it might be time to start to challenge here. Maybe it's time to get the Demona off the board.
It's kind of interesting here that Chris is acknowledging the power of the evasiveness here. But we are trading. Okay, I was thinking maybe he wanted to keep up the Elsa for future, but he's able to answer the Basil and the Demona here, and that's important because Chris really needs genies to close this game out, and with that Basil in play, Genie just gets got with 1 hit from that Elsa.
Yeah, now that Elsa is free and clear to start continuing to chomp down some of these smaller, weaker characters, still keeping that damage floating around, and there he is, making his triumphant return, or for the first time, the Cheshire Cat gets a boost, just getting active onto this Captain Hook, leaving Chris with nothing but a 1-cost character in play, no cards in hand. You already went through 1 dock. You're going to need a miracle to get this back. Angel is a decent, trusty, try-hard card to help kind of
she's
gain
gorgeous.
some advantage.
She's gorgeous, but I don't know if she's the answer right here.
It's a start. You got to start somewhere. I guess you can at least maybe stop the questing from happening with the non-evasive characters for fear of reprisals from the Captain Hook. Maybe the Angel with that resist could clear the Tigger at least and survive. Maybe you got to find your own Cheshire Cat at this point. We have the Royal Guard now continuing to expand the board. Dan trying to just get as wide as possible. We have the Lexington is going to follow up now. A nice answer to this evasive, but still too weak to truly get after this Elsa, especially with the Cheshire Cat there prepared to heal the Elsa.
So it did appear that Chris didn't put the 2 damage on his dock, but then Dan just used only the Elsa to challenge the dock away. I'm pretty sure they both were aware that it had 2 damage, but just didn't. So Dan could have done a slightly different play by moving that damage onto the hook and then sending the Tigger into it, but opted not to.
I mean, this spot still looks
that, but it's possible that I blinked a little much there.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the nature of webcam games from time to time. You just kind of, things like that might kind of fall through the gaps a little bit. That's how it does go, but we do find this evasive Genie now, so you are starting to build up a little bit more questing power and another card in hand, so you are getting a little bit more draw as well. But Dan's board is maintaining its width. I like the approach. Stay wide, try not to get outflanked too much. We still can use his Angel's ability, but it still doesn't seem good enough. I mean, that Royal Guard is a tempting target for Angel, but maybe that card in hand is just better.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Chris really needs Dan not to draw Demona. He really needs to draw a strength so he can take out this Cheshire Cat and then be able to actually quest with Genie. But right now he cannot quest with Genie while that Cat and Elsa are still in play.
And we haven't seen a strength yet come in from Chris, have we? In this game, none in Inkwell, none have been played, I believe.
Not yet.
So you still, as I believe we saw He Heralded Thunderbolt be discarded with Angel a few turns ago. So you do have access to that as well. I don't know how many copies. Maybe we can pull up the CCQ winning, nationally qualified winning deck list and see if it's a similar build as that. But probably don't have a full playset of He Heralded Thunderbolt, maybe just a one of. And I'm certain you probably have 4 copies of Strength of Raging Fire in the deck.
I don't know. It's only one of the best steel cards. People don't play 4 docks all the time, so.
You never know. I don't know. I mean, bricking, but Angel might help smooth a lot of that out. So, Chris, now on the approach, we have the Benja. So we are still Benja gaming, but Benja now
Ooh,
is
fire
just
the
going.
cannons!
So we are Cannons gaming too. That this is the same deck, I believe. You're still playing your patent pending Amethyst Steel Fire the Cannons build. No cards in hand now.
I bet that was the card left in his hand last turn. He's like, all right, I just need to wait a turn. Whatever I draw, I'm pitching. And we're taking this Cheshire Cat out of here, and then we can start doing other stuff. And with no cards in hand, the resist is a clean answer that Dan actually can't take this Angel down. He
He
can put 2
can't.
damage on it, but he can't take it down fully.
Unless you draw a card like another Demona Scourge of the Wyvern Clan, or maybe you can get to a Hades looking for a deal or something, and maybe or that won't work. But I think that's your options, man. Maybe you got to force your opponent to draw. Play Show Me More here. You can
Yeah.
probably take it down there or something. Force your opponent to draw some cards.
Yeah, a
But just like
Demona
that,
would be pretty good, and then we can just nicely take out this Angel, have a few more cards to do, but we're just going to Hades maybe the Angel. I think it's a tough choice. Yeah. The Genie, just for the... Yeah, it is just a respect there. We can't actually answer the Genie with our Elsa because of this Lexington, and we kind of just need to not worry about the Angel very much. It is... Oh, well, that's why.
That's a really good one. Into the Unknown is going to be deployed, sending that problematic exerted angel to the inkwell, and just like that, the board is going back and forth as both of these Illumineers are trying to fight for their position to outflank the adversary. As what is Dan going to do off the top? You've been ripping pretty hard. Can the rip continue?
That's pretty good.
That's another good one too, man. Wow, they're both getting them. Gizmo was quite good. Off the top.
Dan's deck is full of cards, and there's the Genie, so he isn't... He might have shaved 1 or 2, but he's still playing it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good... This is a good series of cards. This game is kind of great. This is a good one that we got coming up. Amethyst Steel versus Sapphire Amethyst. I know we're getting close to the next set coming out, and I'm hoping in this next set we can introduce some new color combinations or some different things that we haven't seen so much, because we've been seeing these two decks play against each other since rotation. Maybe we can get something new in there, but I still think it's not bad to watch from time to time. Dan now starting their own questing campaign. Hades and Elsa both getting exerted. We are looking at this Yzma now, probably free and clear, ready to exert, showing that power to draw 3 cards. And are those 3 cards going to be decent enough to be able to slow Dan down a little bit? Benja is not going to be able to get it done, unfortunately, as the Palace Guard also not quite the guy, but Doc is the guy that you're looking for. If this Doc can find strength, we are so back, says Chris. We have a singer set up to sing, but he has no song to sing. He's sitting there menacing and alone. The stare down commences. The board is wide.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We know the Yzma's obviously going to get challenged down. Are we going to trade our 2 characters for the Hades? It's possible. That would leave Dan with just an Elsa, Genie, and 2 cards if we do that, assuming the Tigger's going to trade with the Yzma.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's possible Dan sends the 2 evasives into it, but that seems a little suspicious. Opts not to do it. We're just saving them to quest, I think.
We're saving it. Or maybe you set yourself up for a Demona. A Demona off the top would not be great for Chris. You really don't have these robust challengers like you would want to have for a nice Demona swing. Dan does have you kind of outvalued in terms of raw strength. So it might be a tough Demona turn, but if you can find strength, or maybe Demona into a string, maybe play your hand, ink a card, play Demona, find a couple strengths, you can really rock and roll this game wide open. Hades now chomping at the bit to get after this conniving chemist. Sends that Yzma onto the discard pile, holding on to 3 damage, and you have enough ink to deploy a Cheshire Cat here, which could blow up another card.
Yeah, I think a cat would be pretty backbreaking here. Being able to make it so our Hades doesn't just get banished. to a pesky hook.
Yeah.
It's looking like that's going to be the way.
Well,
Like,
we're
what do you
looking for a
target?
deal. We got the fast talker out here. I'm going for.
He's like,
I would,
oh, right to the bottom. Right to the bottom.
I would probably went after a singer there, somebody who can sing. Maybe that Lexington or potential. What I didn't see who went there. Who went to the
Benja.
bottom? Benja. Okay, Benja's another
So
singer, and
that's
he's
a
also a great
singer.
quester.
And yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
like Benja hits both of those two lore, which is key, and the ability to sing strength. Quite
Yeah.
important.
So Dan has to understand that strength is a super big threat, I suppose, at this point. You haven't seen one this entire time, and one should be due for Chris at a moment's notice, but we still apparently haven't got there. So we just have to start making these favorable trades, taking your 1 cost into the 7 cost, clearing that Hades the Infernal Schemer, now leaving Genie, Hades Fast Talker looking for a deal. Man, it's so much willpower or so much strength on the other side.
Well, we're taking down that Genie now. But Dan did steal the lore lead here with the Genie being able to do some stuff. And then another backup Genie. Oh!
Another Yzma is deployed, followed by Calhoun. More bodies coming to the field. Do you have anything to do with these remaining 2 ink? It looks like we may not. The Palace Guard and the Doc Bold Knight are just kind of hanging back. So is Christopher Robinson. You don't want to just give up these 2 cards for free. Dan now, I believe, holding 0 cards in hand. Board is outmaneuvered once again, inking the Elsa, maybe setting yourself up for an enemy Demona coming off the top.
I think Chris once again acknowledges that if his opponent has it, he loses. So he's trying to be like, fine, you're not going to have it. I'm going to force you to have it again. Do you have an answer for the Yzma to punish me for inking this Elsa? Which is kind of a way to answer that Genie.
Yeah. And I think you're just going to try to keep the pressure up as you put yourself in a position to start to race. Dan is now going to take a turn off to gain some more resources with that Junior Woodchuck guidebook as the challenging is starting. So you will be able to do a significant amount of board clearing here, but you're not going to be able to clear everything from Chris's side unless you have another song that you can sing. But Genie's questing, and we're all knotted up at 12 here.
Ooh.
Baker's dozen. Iago and Basil slam themselves to the field as the tempo now leads to Dan. This has been a back and forth bend but don't break matchup all the while. I actually love this kind of forte here. Lexington on the board now.
An all right answer to that Genie, but Dan does have 5, 6, 7 lore in play, 1 away. Let's see how good this Yzma is to Chris.
We still are holding out for a Strength of Raging Fire. It's not going to be as good now because you don't have those singers available as you once did a few turns before. But you still have a plethora of ink to work with just to clear something off, or even go after that Iago. I mean, you could just send any action. Another fire to cannons would be nice to go after that Iago.
I was going to say,
as possible.
I want to see Chris fire the cannon, the Iago, play a strength on the Genie, and then play another threat. Oh, that's one way to do it. We're up there. We're representing having the game here because we're questing up to 15 with 5 lore at the ready.
At 5 lore remaining, Yzma does quest for 2. We have the Doc, the Bold Knight. Probably can go ahead and just get your cheeky 1 lore right now. Probably playing Cheshire Cat mathematics in your head as well, putting 15 in play. Dan now going to be in the uncomfortable position of having to break this board a little bit. You still are due a couple of let it goes and some removal of your own. You only played 1 let it go, 1 into the unknown, 1 Hades. So you have a whole bouquet of answers of your own. So you have some very live tops. There's 1 right there. Let it go. Sending the ready Yzma down to the inkwell.
So we challenge down the Yzma with the Iago. We can take down the Doc with the Tigger, quest for 2 with Genie, and 1 with the Elsa if we really want to get to 15, leaving the Basil just back up and hanging out. We might also just quest with it to get that to kind of incite Chris to challenge, but I feel like he's either going to challenge to stop you from winning or win the game. And I don't know if you giving him bait matters as much. Like,
Yeah. And Chris has no hand cards, right? So you don't really have
Yep.
to worry about the powerful ghostly serpent off the top win kind of thing, or dock in. I guess you can find a dock into the serpent, and I'm just gonna have to cry myself to sleep on that one. You can't beat that. That's just the way the game is played. Or dash off the top coming in from Wilds Unknown. Ugh, gross. That's gonna be
Yeah.
our reality.
He dashes, Christopher Robbins,
Oh,
and Cobras. Oh my.
oh, nonstop. Oh. But here it is. So Dan now presenting game on board for Chris now to deal with, as both of these Illumineers have been slugging it down back and forth. Bend but don't break.
The issue is that Chris does have the answers in play. Like, the Palace Guard can take out the Basil and the Lexington take out the Genie. And then we could quest for one if we wanted, but we really need to add a threat. That card we drew has to do something big. Either it be a Fire the Cannon to take out the Iago. I mean, we could actually take out the Tigger with the hook as well if we really wanted to shore it up. And that really just depends on the card in our hand. A Cheshire Cat would just be backbreaking right here.
And that's something Chris hasn't seen a lot of those cards. Again, I'm not certain of the build, but we have seen one copy of Fire the Cannons and one He Heralded Thunderbolt. But Strength of Raging Fire, Angel off the top. Angel, you're my angel. You're my darling angel. Is going to be off the top. No cards in hand. So unfortunately, you cannot trigger her fast, untouchable ability. No, fastball. What was it called?
Good aim.
Good aim. That's what it was. Man, I got to lock in, dude. Good aim. So here we go. This is for all of the marbles. Maybe there's a world where you can quest would get you up to 16, and that's still not threatening anything. So just taking down the Tigger is going to be the choice coming in from Chris.
I think this is the right way here. We have to really hope Dan bricks here. I don't know what we're bricking on. Our Lexington can trade or can eat up this Elsa, and then we can discard a card to banish the 1-drop if that's what we hit. But a Dumbo, that's not what Chris wants to see at all.
That is probably one of the best possible cards you could draw there in this scenario, just to give you a little bit more gasoline to just keep digging through your deck to look for more outs, looking for more answers. Elsa now free and clear to sing a song if Dumbo is able to provide, or you can use Dumbo's unique ability one final time to maybe dig another card, gain another lore.
Dan kind of going to the tank. I'd almost think he drew another 4-drop. I'd play the character in Quest, personally.
You play the character in Quest, you would not clear. I think I'm playing I'd get somebody off if I can. Hey, yo. No, you can't.
So if you quest up to 18 and play a character, you have the game in play on your 2 readied characters, and Chris has to answer both your characters, one of which requires discarding a character, and the other one is a challenge. Now, Chris's out would be Dock into Cobra, which would be hilarious to see and like devastating for Dan. But okay, so we're going for 2 extra cards.
So we've refilled our hand now. So we're setting up for another turn. And I think you might be able to get there. Dan, you still have the option to get a Dock into a Strength as well. I think that would kind of keep this game going.
So I think there was a slight little misstep there by Dan. Unless I blinked. Did he activate the Elsa? He has 2 cards in hand, so he must have. I was thinking he just quested with it. So never mind, he didn't have a mistake. So we're discarding, shooting that. We're challenging and trading with the Iago, and we're questing.
Questing for 2.
Going up to 17 and pass. It's devastating for Dan that he didn't hit a character there. Like, sure, he drew more cards. He could probably not lose from this spot. Chris isn't representing the game. He can't win with the Cobra without the help of a Dock. It's looking pretty favored for Dan. And if he has some pesky things like a Hades,
that's pretty good, I would say. Hades looking for a deal in this spot. At worst, you're giving Dan 2 more cards, which feels really miserable from Chris's position, as you still have these 2 characters alone and unafraid. Dumbo, Ninth Wonder of the Universe, can also generate another card as we are preparing for potentially another turn as Chris needs Doc into Cobra. I think that's it.
Yep,
I think
he's
that's where we
playing
are.
that
This is the
out.
game.
100%. Like, that's the only reason you let your opponent draw cards there, is you've acknowledged Cobra's your only way to win this game.
Yeah, and it has to be, unless you're playing cards like maybe a Dream Woodchuck guidebook as well, or maybe there's a world where you can. Is there a way to draw 2?
He might be able to play
Doc?
Demona. He might have enough that, like, he has. Oh wait, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
Because he can't take out the. We were already expecting the 1/4 to be taken out. So right now we need Doc. We need Demona. Do we win? Do we have it? That is not that, Chris. No. So close, but so far. Dang. That was an intense game. That was a 30 and a half minute game. Like,
that's insane.
Where's the dash at? Where is the dash?
The dash, gathering wisdom and knowledge. White Rose, Honey Marin. I think this card is legit. Do you think this dash card is real? I think dash is real.
Yeah, I think this is an uninkable goat.
Yeah.
But better.
Yeah.
But better. Because you get the 2 lore immediately. How many times with goat is it like, well, I'm going to play this goat and pass the turn, hope you don't have a thing, and they Pirate's Life you, or they play a goat or a Cobra. Like, it's not as good as goat because it's uninkable, but the fact that you get the 2 lore right away is pretty key. Unless we have some shenanigans of cards that just say your opponents cannot quest this turn, or something like that.
Next turn, your opponent cannot quest.
I really want them to make an ability like Bodyguard, but it basically says, while this character is exerted, your opponents cannot quest.
Well,
and so they have to challenge it.
We have that Peter Pan. That Peter Pan kind of does that, but
but I don't want it on a 7-drop.
Yeah,
I want this to be a keyword, and I want this on some 2-drops, on some 4-drops, and some 3-drops. Like,
yeah,
maybe it's too good. Maybe I'm just a silly Billy, but I would kind of like to see that. Especially with all
they gave us that Peter Pan card, that Neverland Prankster, and we just never landed back on that idea again. It just kind of went away.
And you could tell from how it was like costed and the workaround on the ability, because I think you only had to challenge once and then you could quest, right?
Yeah.
So like that's fair, but I want like a 2-cost 2/3 that says this, right?
Yeah, the same thing.
Like, I want it to brick these 1-cost 1/1 quests for 2s. I want it to brick the Curse Merfolks, the Mikos, the Christopher Robins.
Too strong.
But I want the 3/3s to just eat it.
That's pretty good.
It's got like play.
It'll hit locations too. Peter Pan hits the locations as well.
Oh yeah. See, this wouldn't stop locations, but Dash would have to rush it instead of quest.
I like it. As we're starting Palace Guard again. So Chris on the Amethyst Steel, this time on the play. The deck is a little bit better on the play, but Dan does have the ability to, ramp on 2 and kind of seize the initiative a little bit easier than most strategies can. But Chris is going to be much more comfortable playing from this side of the board. Dream Woodchuck Guidebook now is going to find its way down on into the Inkwell, leading Basil this time. So pretty easy quest coming up from Chris probably.
Yeah, I do like this Palace Guard here. It's Dan really wanted to have a Royal Guard. And unfortunately for him, he got his second best 1-drop in this scenario. While Basil sometimes, like the bread and butter, in this scenario, when both of Chris's characters survive a hit and go through, does Dan have the TPO to be able to counter, quote unquote, this Christopher Robin?
Yeah, that is a nice rebuttal, as we are going to ink the sale in favor of another sale. So no TPO here. So we are going to get some more lore coming in from Chris in this early game, who's going to make this attempt to get underneath this Sapphire and Amethyst strategy, as it's known to do. Get out there get out there quick, fast, early, and maybe you can burn out of there with a Cobra or a Pocahontas or something to finish the game in one fell swoop. So double Basil. Will you take that trade? Will you send one of your Basils into this Christopher Robinson if he
Yes.
becomes exerted?
Yes, but there's more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to quest with the other one, and that allows Chris to eat it up with the Palace Guard. Or even worse, what if he plays a 1-drop and a Calhoun here? We already see him ink a 1-drop, so he could have done at least played a 1-drop and a 2-drop possibly if he has that 2-drop. I don't know what 3-drop he might want to play curve. Rather than that, pretty good card. And if Dan does this trade, that cat's moving damage back. This is kind of looking rough. He needs to play his own cat. And even then, it's going to be a couple turns before we really get to do anything profitable for Dan if we don't take the trade. And if we take the trade, we're kind of losing a lot of card advantage. And this matchup does kind of matter for that in the long run, as we saw last game.
And we saw that there are a ton of Tiggers in the deck as well. So maybe that can be an opportunity to start bouncing some stuff back to the hand and maybe slow Chris down a little bit. That did work very effective for you in the previous game. Imagine if Chris were able to quest with a couple of those characters that were bounced back, you probably would have lost that race. It still came down to a photo finish. So coming into this 4-ink turn, it's very critical that you get somebody down there to maybe break it up. But Cheshire Cat is just such a threat, being able to sing Strength of Raging Fire. We didn't see it happen at all in the last game. So having a very threatening 3-cost singer available, and here he is.
I think this is a fantastic play. You get to bounce that Christopher Robin, so it's not as scary. Or, we could also bounce the Palace Guard and then challenge down the Christopher Robin, leaving just the Cheshire Cat. So then if the cat wants to brawl with the Basil, then the Tigger gets to eat it. And Chris most likely doesn't have a thing. I don't know what would happen 2 or 3 turns after that, but I would be tempted to want to do that. And maybe that's what Dan was thinking about. He kind of tanked for a little bit. Maybe he thought of that play and it didn't line up exactly with what he had, or he thought of a card that I did not think of that Chris could have to punish him. And, that could actually be Fire the Cannons. He does that. Cat takes down the Basil, moves the 2 damage off of it onto Tigger, and then Fire the Cannons. So that's probably why Dan didn't do that line. He saw the Fire the Cannons before I did.
Yeah. And Chris is a notorious Fire the Cannon supporter. So not playing into cards you've seen, that's a nice little technique, a way to play this game. Genie Wish fulfilled, adding another card from deck to hand for Chris now, who has completed the prophecy again. The curve has built, but still no strength. We have not. This is crazy. I've never seen an Amethyst Steel player not deploy Strength of Raging Fire.
I don't think I'd even strength here, honestly.
Yeah.
You get to take out the Tigger, but then the Basil's trade with you. And while you do come up kind of ahead, at the same time, the cat is worth like 4 cards almost.
Yeah. Especially in a world where we're kind of getting to a nice standoff. Both of these Illumineers are confident and fine with just building these wide boards and staring down, preparing for Her Majesty Demona Scourge of the Wyvern Clan is going to come on through probably on the following turn. Dan playing right for it. Chris now has to prepare for that outcome.
Are you seeing this body language? Did you see the way Dan flopped that Basil into his inkwell and kind of threw his hand down? I don't think he's got a great hand. He's upset he's drawn too many of these bad 1-drops. He really needed that Elsa right here, right? Like Chris put him on another, have it, and it wasn't even like he had to make a bad play to do it. It was more like, please don't have the best turn 5 play your deck can do. Like, don't take away my power characters. And now Dan has no evasive answers. Chris has a solid evasive threat and an active Cheshire Cat. We're definitely seeing a game 3 here, if I can predict it.
Yeah, that also would have been brutal. Going after this Cheshire Cat or this Genie. Probably the Cheshire Cat, I would say. He's just a very strong card. Still holding his whole position together. The board is getting rather wide, but not having Elsa on 5. We still have not seen a Strength of Raging Fire just yet. Maybe Chris is holding on to that strength for a rainy day, or maybe just doesn't have it, or maybe he's not playing it. Maybe just cut the card from the day. So it's not that good.
So Dan kind of needs to play Demona here, and that's not even that good. It gives Chris one card, but it lets us answer the Cheshire Cat and a Robin. And if he like the crackback is so rough, I don't even know if I'd want to play it. We're in a rough spot from Dan's
Mm-hmm.
position.
Yeah, this is gaming, folks. This is Lorcana at its peak. Sapphire Amethyst versus Amethyst Steel on the ICL on a Wednesday. Game number one went to
Elsa?
Dan. Now game number two looking like it's going towards Chris, but we do get
This
the
is what he
Elsa pick.
need?
Better late than never. Cheshire Cat immediately targeted. You will have to give up one of these Basils as well in order to get her strong enough to get through Cheshire Cat, unless you just want to send this Tigger in.
Well, see,
And
we're
we will.
gonna pump up the Elsa and take out the Genie.
Nice.
So this
That's even
takes
better.
down some of the biggest threats that Chris has. And while we are giving Chris 2 lore on the Calhoun, I mean, he does go up to 10, but we're able to answer 2 of the bigger threats that Chris had in play.
Yeah, I don't hate that play at all. I think that was a nice little 1-2 punch, getting yourself back into even position. I've noticed seeing these Sapphire Amethyst players play. I think it's just trying to, as long as you have the same amount of characters or more, I think you're feeling okay. I mean, you're probably
Yep.
not always winning, but as long as you're not getting severely just overtaken with mass, as this Amethyst Steel deck can do, I think you're feeling good. But this Angel's looking
Ooh.
even better here.
Yeah. I'm thinking the body language I saw from Dan earlier was that he drew the Elsa off of playing the Genie there, where he's just like, oh, of course it's 1 card down, that kind of thing here. And then Chris having the removal for the Genie, and then now having the Angel to make it that if Dan has another Demona, we saw him ink 1, it's not doing very much. Dan's
Yeah.
once again in a rough spot. Does he have another card like Elsa to just make me eat my words and show that he's in a fine spot?
Another Elsa? You mean like another Elsa Fifth Spirit? Will that get it done?
Well, a card as good as the Elsa
Oh
was is
yeah.
what I mean.
Oh
Like, because
yeah,
that
yeah.
Elsa was very good, but I don't know what card that could be.
Maybe I'll probably take a Hades here just to get some, just keep the
Okay,
party train rolling. I take a Hades the Infernal Schemer. Maybe send that Angel to the Inkwell. Maybe even this Calhoun or something, or just to help and have a nice challenging character
this is
available.
what he
This
needs.
Elsa, shit,
This is
Elsa
what he
would be
needs
great.
right here.
Man,
Put that angel down, lock the Calhoun angel down, challenge the Christopher Robin.
there he is. We got him. The schemer has schemed. And that's a pretty good Hades, I would say. And now we have this Elsa. It still might be pretty chill to just keep questing, I guess, gaining that lore. Or is it time to trade up this Calhoun? No chance, right? We'll take our lore and pass.
I would be highly tempted to put 2 damage on this Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
And then
Put
that
some
way
hits on him.
next turn I can challenge down Calhoun and Christopher Robin.
What are you doing here with this Hades? Are you giving up 2 cards, or are you sending them away?
Well, if I stack 2 damage on the Christopher Robin, I'd be a lot more like I'd be way more fine with putting the Hades on the bottom. But now I think I have to give him 2 cards, and I hate it. Unless that
Yeah.
card in my hand's really good, we're in a rough spot. Chris is able to quest up. We're getting rid of our way to answer the Christopher Robin. So we need a Cheshire Cat. We
Yeah.
need a Cheshire Cat. Maybe another Elsa.
Dude, Christopher Robinson having 3 is kind of broken a little bit. I mean, he is a 2 cost, and he did pay full retail value for the Christopher Robinson being on the play, and he has quested quite mightily a few times this game as well. Hades looking for a deal, looking phenomenal in that exact scenario. I know that's a card that we've gone back and forth here on this show multiple times about his validity and his value in this game, and I think he's goated. You think he's rather mid. Oh, and it was the Cheshire Cat, though.
That's what we needed.
To clear the boy off. The youngster, Christopher Robinson, out of there. Still got a great game. 16 minutes left out there as these Illumineers are absolutely slugging it out in a back and forth grind session. Amethyst Steel, Sapphire Amethyst. Now, what decisions do Chris need to make here? If you continue to exert, this Cheshire Cat is going to continue to feed on your position. Elsa would not be that good. Never mind. Because you got to get this cat off because cat's about to pick off your Calhoun next turn as well.
Oh yeah.
Maybe get your own Elsa would be pretty decent.
Yeah, the Elsa to exert this Cheshire Cat, and then we could hit it with the Palace Guard and the Calhoun, or just the Elsa and the Calhoun. You don't necessarily want to use the Elsa because then Dan's Elsa could take out our Elsa, but if we use the Palace Guard and the Calhoun, we trade the Calhoun, gain 2 lore, and then we also get a quest with the Hades, and that puts us at 17 with an Elsa, Hades, Palace Guard in play.
In the event that we have it, but we have this one card in hand. If that one card is Fire the Cannons, you're feeling bad, okay? Because Fire Cannons not doing too much for you right now in this exact scenario. And it's uninkable.
Pretty good. But also
terrible.
not that good.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, this is rough. Like, stacking 3 damage on the cat when it gets to move stuff is, like, not what you want. But if we move 2 damage onto the Calhoun, we still can't challenge the Hades with the cat to be able to banish it. And I think that's why we went for hitting the cat, to try to make it so maybe this Hades gets to quest twice. We could move the damage onto Calhoun and double challenge the Palace Guard, making it so Chris can only quest up to 18, and then the cat and Calhoun, or cat and Elsa, will take it down the next turn. If Dan has another cat, he might lock the game up outside of cards such as a Demona or a Doc. Either Demona Doc probably seals the deal for Chris, but even if Dan stabilizes, he's got to gain 18 lore.
We're just going to take the simplest approach and just use the Elsa to stack up more damage and maybe start feeding this cat, sending more hits into the other side. Maybe put 2 onto the Palace Guard, and then you can also take down the Palace Guard. Maybe just trying to get that lore off. Maybe telling a tale about what the contents of Dan's hand are, and they are 2 more cards that are just slammed into the field of play. Pass back on over, leaving nothing but a Hades looking for a deal, alone and unafraid.
Not
it's
bad.
The
That's, I'm going to make you have it again. And we do have to quest, because if it's a Demona, we get got. We miss out on a lore. If Demona didn't exist, I probably wouldn't quest because we don't need to. Oh, we're just doing the challenge. That's fair. That's fair.
That's not bad. I would have. I think Quest might have been pretty decent there too. So put at least a threatened game with this 2 questing Yzma, conniving chemist. But getting that Cheshire Cat off is probably the correct thing to do as well, because more tomfoolery can befall you. Iago now free and clear to challenge into this Hades or not. Man,
there's a lot of cards in Dan's deck that just answer Yzma. Like, just straight up answer Yzma. And we're just doing some quests, and we get to draw 3 cards.
Wait, we still have. Dan has a turn. He didn't play anything. He didn't play anything. No, not like this.
Oh, that's
not like this. Not like this.
We get do we just Cobra win?
I mean, we got the Demona.
We're questing.
Are we questing or drawing?
We're questing up to 19.
Yeah, get up to 19 and put game in play. 1 card in hand. That card is definitely a Cobra over there, by the way. No, it's not. He would have played it for sure.
Yeah, he would have played it.
He would have played it for sure. And here we go. So Dan now back against the wall, and we're just going to scoop it up and get out of here to get to that game number 3. We only have 11 minutes left, so we need a very, very quick shuffle and re-engagement here so we can hopefully finish this thing between the lines. What an incredible matchup we've seen so far. Loungers, Dan versus ETB, Chris, the back-to-back champions trying to go for the 3-peat, get back into first place. ICL on a Wednesday going crazy, but Loungers there will not be denied. Dan needs to be back on the play this time, and maybe you can come out of the gate storming. It seems like he kind of did everything you wanted to do, but Chris just kind of got there a little bit sooner. That Christopher Robinson was doing some heavy lifting there.
Yeah, Christopher Robin is just such a good underdog. I liked it before, without underdog, because there just wasn't a 3 willpower 2 quester in the colors to use. They were all just 2/2s.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of what saw play already with Calhoun. I mean, we did have a 3-quester for 2, but like that's too fragile.
Yeah.
Like we could
It's
have played
just
Nala, but
no, it's zero. That zero strength too. I guess that one from Christopher Robinson doesn't matter as much, but the Nala, she gets her shield knocked off, and then the 2. I think she's easier to take down than the Christopher Robinson a lot of the time. But still not being denied. Can we finish this in time? What is the chat saying? I can't see the chat right now, but I'm assuming they're saying time is going to win, as 10 minutes just might not be enough time for this matchup to fully transpire, but there might be a timeline. I always say that to my opponent when time's getting tight, like, hey, I'm going to play as fast as I can, and I
oh
hope you
yeah.
do the same. Let's see if we can finish this in time.
Sometimes I don't like to remind them if I feel like they might be the type of like if I think they are far behind, I'm not going to remind them because I don't want them to play for the draw. But if I see they're playing slow, I'm going to be like, you need to play faster.
Okay. Oh, you just straight up say it. You just straight say it like that?
Yeah.
No,
I've been
no.
burned too many times
Yeah.
to care about slightly offending someone's feelings if there's the possibility that they're purposely stalling to get a draw.
Got it.
Like,
Okay.
because I feel like them purposely doing that is more insulting than me saying we need to play faster. I won't say you need to play faster. I will say we need to play faster.
Okay.
So I'm at
That's
least
fair.
nice in that regard. As Chris opens up again with Christopher Robin on turn 1 on the draw, with Dan not having a 1-drop, which is fair. Especially if we have the sale, we could still deploy a 1-drop on this turn if we wanted to and if we had it.
And that's Christopher Robinson again showing that beautiful underdog ability. Now being able to quest. If this guy can get, I think he went for 8 last time. How much did that Christopher Robinson go for? Did he go for 6? I think he went for at least 6 lore last time. And this one's gearing up to go for at least 6 again, potentially, as we're getting 2 here right away. Maybe 2 again that next turn. Elsa into the inkwell, followed by another one. The Christopher Robinson show begins as the race is on. These Illumineers have picked up the pace a little bit, playing with a little bit of speed and vigor. The cat's out of the bag. They know what they both are trying to do.
Like, that's what he needs. He needs Tigger right here. Oh my goodness. This is very good for Chris.
That's not a Tigger, but Dumbo can get his game on sometimes and engage in fisticuffs from time to time, as the Cheshire Cat is going to hit the board and the questing continues, throwing a little 6-piece up there. Dumbo, you want him doing something else. You don't want this bad boy challenging, but he might have to throw down this time to get one of these Chris Robinsons.
There is 10K on draw, 1K on Dan winning. Guess how many points are on Chris winning this game?
How many?
10.
10?
Those 10 points are going to win a lot of points.
Bro, that's a crazy line. 10K on draw is nuts, dude.
I mean, after these first 2 games, can you blame them?
I don't. That's an easy one. If you put 10 on Chris, you're about to get paid if he wins, but anything can happen in the ICL on a Wednesday. Stare down, still commencing. 5 ink now. Are we going Elsa here? I don't know if you're going to need it. Maybe Hades looking for a deal. Let it go. Manually voiced onto the Cheshire Cat. I don't hate that either. All right, so now Christopher Robinson still on board, threatening 2 more lore. Dan slowing down the burning a little bit.
Chris needs to drop down that Yzma because it really drastically slows down the things that Dan can answer it with. Because if he's going to answer it with the Dumbo, that's a trade, and that's a fair trade. And there he has it, and this is the best way to punish Dan for that let it go.
Yeah, you just kind of had to have it all, and still just piling up more lore with Christopher Robinson. Not afraid of Dumbo being able to challenge and banish this Christopher Robinson. Looking at your hand, you still have a ton of cards left in hand. You can't go into a Demona turn and get some merits from that this next following turn, and clear the Yzma with the Dumbo, who I don't know if that's a viable move for you, but if Chris comes in next turn with a huge board flood followed by Yzma replenishment, that feels quite terrible as well.
Yep, this is unfortunate for Dan. And the thing is this actually could also be good for Chris. He has 3 cards in hand, did not play a 1-drop. So his hand is probably 2-drop plus cards, like pretty powerful. And if he was trying to empty his hand, he might have played 2 2-drops there. So it almost makes me think that maybe he just has more big cards like genies and such. Or
did Dan not ink last turn either? Dan might be bricked up as well.
He did not.
Ayo, he might not have the units. Ink strength, discard strength. I don't like that play from Chris either. That feels hardcore right there.
It's a crazy game.
We're gaming. We're getting to the finish line.
We're just seeing so many plays that are just like, I have to do it. It's not good, but I have to do it. Like, we're just playing Belle because she's a 4-cost 4/4. We're inking to let it go. Tells me that we have a Hades in hand as we're trying to be able to Hades next turn, which is what he's representing. Do we have another Thunderbolt? Or more threats? What do we got? 3 cards in hand.
We saw double strength get used last turn. One being discarded, one being inked.
I smell a dock. Oh, Demona!
Demona. Scourge of the Wyvern Clan. You're going to give Dan a few more cards. You're going to give yourself a few more cards as well, as you can almost guarantee Hades, the Infernal Schemer, is scheming and dreaming. But Dan had some very anemic turns in that mid-game. Playing Let It Go, playing Elsa not inking, playing Bale not being able to move any damage, just literally void of any type of momentum or anything. So hand is probably bricked. But if you can manage to survive and get to that 7 ink threshold, maybe you can play Hades, and that can be enough to slow Chris down a little bit. There is Hades number 1. Bale now can challenge into this Christopher Robin, not Robinson. Why do I keep saying Christopher Robinson?
Dude, you've said it this entire time. I even DM'd you and you didn't see it. I wasn't going to verbally correct you in case you were doing it on purpose and it was just a joke. I was like, maybe you really like Meet the Robinsons or what is that island
Christopher Robin. Movie? Have I been saying Robin? I got to lock
the
in,
whole
dude.
Like 10 times.
My bad, man. I got to wake up, dude. I am a bit
Chat
fatigued.
called you out.
Well last night. I've been fatigued. I haven't been sleeping very well, so that's on me. As we are going to play the Lexington now, who is a pretty decent at trading with a little bit of the characters that Dan has on his side. This is still looking pretty good for Chris, but I feel that Dan might have eternal Hades right here. It's going to be Hades, and you're just going to keep.
Don't you be doing that, Chris, Ricky, Bobby. Don't you be doing that.
Maybe just a 1 Hades. Usually they play 3 or 4 at this point, but we're grabbing a small allotment of ink. Maybe it's a Cheshire Catting taking place for Dan. We're gearing up for 4, and maybe it's a Tigger for sure. Bounce Doc back to the hand. Straight Chad move.
Tigger, bounce your Doc. If I'm going to lose, you're going to have all the cards. I want to say you played multiple Docs, and this is how we're going to get it to happen.
Absolute Chad behavior as Belle now and Cheshire Cat. So we are getting a pretty decent clear. Notice we boost the Belle there. That's hilarious.
Oh, we had that all. How many cards are left in Dan's hand? I think that's we'll see in a second.
We went for that. That was he went Junior Woodchuck guidebook, so he got an additional 2, and then Cheshire Cat
1 card
and Belle. So what a turn there for Dan, as you have slowed down to a screeching halt. We still have this Lexington who probably still wants to quest.
But we're questing up to 16. What do we have left in hand? Double Lexington. These are some big boys.
That's pretty funny, man. Double Lexington. I'll buy that for $1. 1 card remains. A lot of gargoyles. You're going to get hit with the Demona right here and be in shambles, bro. The thing's going to be locked down forever. Let's see if Dan is turbo goated. If we can have the rare and indigenous triple Demona gargoyle lockdown on 1, ready, break. You probably don't want to play it, if I'm being completely honest. If your purple steel player has no cards.
So we play the Calhoun here. So at first glance, you're like, why play Calhoun? Cheshire Cat's in play. But the way it is Dan would have to trade Belle to do that trade. So otherwise, that's Hades going in. Then we need to move damage off of Hades onto Lexington. We can't afford to also then put it onto the Calhoun. So unless we have another cat, and even then that's not enough. We'd only be able to move 1 damage onto the Calhoun. But that would then mean that Chris would have to challenge the Hades with a Lexington and then finish challenging it off with the Calhoun, gaining the 2 lore up to 18 and questing a 19, leaving 2 Lexingtons in play and whatever we draw off top. So if this is another Hades,
there he is.
There's a chance. It's a small one, but there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance. That's all you need. You just need an opportunity to keep drawing cards, to keep playing cards. We only have 30 seconds remaining in the game, but I believe we might be able to get to a dramatic finish here. Chris is very close to the finish line. If you can manage to get these guys questing on your side and maybe get to the Cobra on the following turn. We haven't seen a giant Cobra yet either.
I don't think Dan can win this game, but he can cause a draw.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's playing for right now.
And we can't, if we take out the Calhoun, and we are going to trade, so Cobra will not win this following turn. We got a nice, easy quest for 1 with this Lexington. Passing it back on over now to Chris, who is in top deck mode.
Oh, my goodness. Into Hades!
Oh,
this is what he needed. What are you gonna do? Let me draw cards? Like,
give him the card. That's so bad. This Hades is looking so good. Not like this.
Imagine he gives him the card. He goes Ink Doc.
You can't do it. You can't do it. Oh, this is brutal. Lex still free and clear the quest as well. So the pressure is mounting. He probably I wonder what he targeted. What would you target here?
It's gotta be cat, I think.
It's gotta be cat, right? Yeah.
Because currently, like, there's no answer to to Genie. So Dan has to draw an answer to Genie. He could also just like, if he hits cat and they put it on the bottom, Lexington can just take out the Hades. And then that's not a fantastic play because we're in time and we kind of want that lore. So we're definitely questing. But it, like, puts Dan in a weird spot. So Dan can't cleanly even take this Lexington without also losing his Hades, right?
Yeah, and also you have that Genie that's ready to quest for 2. Hades now also representing the end of the game. So 3 lore and all of eternity. That's 1000% a TPO that you just drew there every single time. I guarantee it. Let's see it. Just throw the TPO. Oh, it's Cheshire Cat. Never mind. That's a pretty good card in this scenario. Well, not that good. It's pretty decent.
We can't. Nope, it's done.
Can't do anything. Yeah. Hand go out with a digital virtual fist bump, and Chris is going.
Oh.
I love to see
where
it.
You can be seen.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Can they still hear me though? Am I in the shadows?
Yeah, because I went back.
And who won? How much did they win on that? You said one person bet against the odds and won?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Shout out to the
Voice,
real ones out there. Voice did it? Voice is a millionaire. Dude, Voice, donate me some cash. Donate me some channel points.
He's a 10K.
I'm in poverty. I'm impoverished over here, man. But what an incredible game. It went all the way to the limit and got it done. Shout out to ETB for coming out there storming. Shout out to Loungers and Dan. I think he played a phenomenal game. Deck looks really cool as well. I enjoyed seeing those Cheshire Cats, those Tigers and the Cheshire Cats and everything about that, but it just did not work out for you this time. I think it was just that mid game. I think your deck just kind of failed to function there, and no fault of your own. These things do happen. That turn we had to manually play the Let It Go, not ink, play the Bell with no effect just to survive. That always kind of feels bad. I think if you'd have had a more standard curve throughout that mid game, I think maybe there's a world you can slow down that aggressive approach from Chris a little bit and stabilize a little bit earlier, maybe force a draw there, or at least maybe even win it in your own right. But still, GG, well played to both. What a game. What a great way to start the ICL on a Wednesday. I can't hear you, Luke. You're muted to me. I don't know if
they didn't want us watching multiple matches, so they just went to time. I was typing up a storm. I didn't want to.
Oh, my bad. No, you're good. You're good. But yeah,
but I didn't notice. It's like started talking. It was like, yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
It's me. I'm I'm the problem. But yeah, it's cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. I enjoyed it a lot. These two great teams. I believe the Loungers, either last season or the season before, made it to the final top four or somewhere in there. So obviously, very talented group of Illumineers. ETB, obviously back to back ICL champions in the first two seasons we've had so far, and they're looking to go for the three-peat. So if they win the three-peat, we might have to just like force a trade or something. I don't know how we're going to stop them from continuing
I mean,
to win every
people have
time.
been trying this time.
Yeah.
They definitely have been trying.
That'd be interesting to see how the whole thing shakes out. So I see you got the ticker going across the top.
You like
Division
that?
A, world class cars. Let's go. WCC at 6-1-1, and MVR Shift at 6-2 second place, followed by SLTC and the Flower Farm. Yo, Division A is stacked. Loungers at 5-3 as well, and the Lords of Lore.
Honestly, I think both divisions are quite stacked.
Yeah.
The league itself is quite stacked.
Some great teams. Great teams.
All right, well, we're going to have a couple more people pop in. You
Right on.
may know them from such shows as The Lore Chronicles or other shows that I can't remember at the moment. But here they are.
Yo!
We're here.
Hello, my fellow Illumineers. Greetings to you.
Greetings
Big
and
Money Bunch is here
salutations.
tonight.
Jay-Z, I gotta stop watching your content, man. It's so good that we'll be filming videos and I'll start saying phrases that are not mine. They belong to you.
No, you can have it. It's
I
for
said, let's start rocking and rolling, and I was like, oh my god.
it's all of us. It's for all of us. It works. It feels good. It makes it. That's dad talk. Shout out to all the dads out there. Let's rock and roll, huh? Let's get loose. Let's get active. Stretch it out.
So
Let's
I
move
gotta
around.
thank you for your contribution to this community. The phrases are too good.
Thank you. Well, how have you all been? You guys been? Oh, I have my $50.
That should be on eBay.
I got one ripped, one regular.
You ripped it.
No.
Well, he gave me a ripped one. I have one ripped,
Okay,
one
okay.
regular, so I can feel all of the joy.
Right
Yeah,
on.
people in Europe got $50 bills since the exchange rate's so good for them.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, no joke. I took $50 bills to Europe. If I go to Canada, I'm gonna have to find the mythical $1,000 bills or something. That's all fake money.
He's too much. Speaking of Canada, listen, ETB is on fire lately.
They're
Let
unbeatable.
somebody else have the shine. Come on, they're doing too good.
They
I
got
can't believe I didn't get to commentate my two least favorite teams. I mean, the most villainous of all people, right? We got Habibi on there. We've got Pandemonium Heart. Just absolute monsters, just ruining everyone's day by beating them into submission. All right, and then of course Braden's Loungers, and my childhood best friend was just on stream. I mean, come on.
Okay. Who? That's the good. Were you rooting for your childhood best friend? It didn't work out there. Did you get a chance to watch that game at all?
I did not, because we were actually recording a video and had to end it early for this. So that's
Right
a little.
on.
It's funny because we played it off. We're like, oh yeah, and we're gonna end it here for actual reasons, not because we had to do ICL. So anyone who watches ICL and our video will know exactly
What happened right there.
Yeah. We're like, and here's some homework for those at home. You guys leave a comment on what you think, because we just had to stop. But,
hopefully you guys are talking about some
applause.
Wilds Unknown there. Anything that you've seen so far that's got your that's wetting your whistle a little bit? Anything that's got you guys excited in the Lore Chronicles coming in from this next set?
Well, obviously Woody. I dressed as him for PPG Texas, right? So that's my boy. So anything Toy Story, I'm excited about.
I know.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. I think my whistle is wet for all of the Enchanteds. I mean, like seeing the lore symbols on the foiling there is just too good. And Merida, like that is she's so good. She's so good. And I'm so excited. I've been seeing people already talking about like how they're gonna make her work. Also, what's the song? What's the song? Sapphire.
I don't want to cut you off.
What else can I do?
I'm gonna let you keep talking, but we're gonna jump over. Keep talking about it as the match goes.
All right, we're going in.
Boom, we're in already.
Greetings and salutations, more like goodbye and good. I don't know. All right, but we're here. There you go. My fellow Illumineers. He's on a quest to go have dinner with the family, and we are here to watch these Illumineers quested on ICL on a Wednesday. We got Mulan, we've got Jasmine, got some Sapphire Steel allies action. Love to see it.
Yeah, and we're jumping right into the setup phase. Something we just talked about, funny enough. And that's exactly what you want to see in the setup phase, right? This Jasmine, something that you absolutely love to have in the opening hand, not so much later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other side, we've got some Emerald and Sapphire doing the thing that we love to do in our setup phase. Gonna get some ramp going, okay? So threatening some potential Clarabelle shifts lines in the future, right? We saw things like that. Yep. Basil hit the Inkwell. Okay, we're gonna be discarding some things. On the other side, we're gonna be trying to get some expensive allies into play. So I'm liking it. We got the Sapphire Mirror here.
Yeah, we also have that old school SSG playmat. That's a collectible at this point.
Absolutely. So this is interesting. This is ETB versus the Lazyboys, I believe. The Loungers are so powerful they split into two. Okay, so now we have the Lazyboys instead of the Loungers, unless production is going to come in and be like, just kidding. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct. But here we go. So we don't see ramp on 2 for the other side. We're just going to play that disguised soldier Mulan and hope to find something that we can use, as we hopefully can at the very least ink something.
Yeah, not the ideal thing on turn 2, but if your opponent is going to shift Clarabelle, you would like to play 2 1-drops on this turn if possible.
Can we
discarding the Jasmine? Must have drew it off the Mulan, right?
Yeah, that would be the guess. But we do go ahead and at least get to ink something. I wonder what that means for the hand. I wonder if that means it's bricked, or maybe we just miss ramp and so we don't see a path forward with the Jasmine shift. But it's gonna be interesting to see how that falls back on us. But as we see, ETB just in first place. I mean, even a little stumble like that, I'm confident they can come back here as we ink that shift Clarabelle.
Yeah, what do you think that means?
Might have another one in hand, both of these players get super unlucky here. The hands are crazy on either side of the board, what this might mean. As we play down
another. Oh yeah, we definitely have another one in hand, and we're ensuring that one fire the cannons, right, or any other kind of this steel removal package that you see very common in these decks is not going to ruin our whole day.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go, passing it back on over, thinking about what we want to ink here. Do we have another one? Boom. Okay, so everybody has 2 of their shift lines, and with that, it's not a fire the cannons, but it does come in the form of a Herald's Thunderbolt, taking out one of those Clarabelles, banishing it over to the discard pile.
Yeah, and that's kind of why Calpost, I like to say ate his vegetables. Right? Do you want to play a 1-cost card when you have 4 ink? No, but sometimes you just got to eat your vegetables and assume he's going to be rewarded here with a nice shift Clarabelle.
Yeah, absolutely. Also interesting is playing that 1-drop Jasmine again, going to be able to give resist to the bigger Jasmine there, to the shifted Jasmine, which is potentially going to protect it from being banished from the shift. So doing some nice things here. Going to see how Kolpos can respond, because I think Carrie is having a pretty nice setup.
Yeah. Again, we're still in the setup phase for Carrie, and it's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to see. Okay, 2. There's no way.
All the Clarabelles in the world.
3 shift Clarabelles, 2 of them being in the Inkwell, 1 being shifted now onto the board. I mean, maybe 1's all you need. Okay, so Kolpos getting rid of 3 of those there, or 2 of them rather, and had seen the 3rd. Very interesting to hit that many so early.
Also, really nice for Carrie playing the double card that turn, making it so that their hands were at parity. So no extra value on that Clarabelle. I'm not going to say no value, because you do have a 7-cost 5/6 that quest for 2 on turn 4, but none of that extra value. And getting an extra quest out of this Jasmine again is fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude, the 1-cost Jasmine being able to give resist there, potentially just game winning. Obviously we still it's early days, we'll have to see how it goes, but could really make a difference here as we do see that Pluto Steel Champion get added to the hand. I like that card. I think I'm a big fan of that card. I'd like to see that card do some things here, but a little too early now. So we are going to go up to 4 ink. hopefully, and hopefully keep pushing the advantage here.
Yeah, I was going to say probably not the matchup that you want the Pluto in, but amazing that the Jasmine can just go ahead and effectively draw you an ink so that you're not going down on cards in hand if you don't want to. This Angel also quite good against that Clarabelle if you draw, cards that you don't necessarily need too soon. Just, I'll ditch them, I'll put 2 damage somewhere, and you draw 1 less card on your turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting kind of like anti-synergy here, like Angel kind of helping you discard your hand down, which is usually not what Kolpos wants, right? With that Clarabelle being on the board. So still a big threat though, but nothing else beside it yet. Going to be trying to make something happen here. I don't know. I've lost count at the ink that we're at. Maybe 6, maybe 6, maybe we're going up to 7.
Going up to 6.
Okay, there you go.
And inking a 6-cost card. So this hand is stacked. I mean, we have inked all the Clarabelles in the world. Inking a John Silver, the turn that you would love to play a John Silver. So, I mean, could be setting up a few things here. Could be setting up a big, under the sea type effect. Could be setting up just emptying my hand so that I do get to draw 2 cards.
Starting off by challenging into that shifted Jasmine there. Feeling pretty good because we get to banish that in that challenge and only take 2 damage back. Then we're going to see a
spicy one.
This is super interesting.
Basically forced to ink the John Silver because he is inkable, of course. And so the Baymax is either going to sit in your hand forever or, you have to play it on turn 6.
Yeah, very, very interesting line there. This Baymax, like you said, super spicy inclusion. I'm not sure what its like main position is here. Maybe it's something he just wanted to see earlier when you can get that early shift and sing off. Maybe not relevant in this particular deck.
Yeah, against this deck, it's not going to be the best aside from like if Kalpos is playing Under the Sea, you could get an early Under the Sea and wipe out all of these Jasmines that were shifted, these little Mulans, stuff like that.
Yeah, so. Very, very interesting. Love seeing the Scuttle, by the way. This is a card that's like been slowly kind of sneaking itself into these Sapphire decks. Has Ward, Quest for 2, and a nice 5/5 stat line on the other side. So we're up to 7 here, and a nice big board for carry. So opted not to quest that Angel. I believe we only have 1 card left in hand as well. So that Clarabelle light on her hooves, hopefully not going to be getting too much value. So carry looking pretty strong, and Kolpos definitely in a position where they're going to want to have to come back from this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. The Scuttle also, it's there for the Blurple matchup, right? It's there to not get Elsa. It's there to not get, Cat, put damage on it and stuff like that. Lining up really well against these, 5 strength, 5 willpower or less, because Clarabelle has 2 damage on it characters sitting on Kalpos' side. So I love to see it when you put a card in your deck for one matchup and it just happens to also catch some strays.
Yeah, absolutely. These Emerald and Sapphire decks, they do a lot of really, really cool things. So it's really interesting to see somebody kind of break the mold and include something like this. And you imagine trying to get some like early Under the Seas off and things like that, which not relevant here. But like if we were playing dogs, we'd be insane right now.
If I had to guess, you know who you could be playing against, and Habibi has been running rampant on dogs, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Maybe Kalpos was hoping to run into him. We're gonna put 1 damage on that Mulan, and then put it in the discard pile.
Yeah, 1 damage.
I do that all the time on accident. I pull out the dice and go, oh, never mind.
Thanks to that malicious, mean and scary. Habibi also playing Amber Steel lately, which most of the time, right, besides things like this Angel and sometimes the Rhino and Chief, depending on the build, but like every other character usually just like Under the Sea. Right, just like getting under the seat as well. So kind of good for those Amber targets. So that Baymax did go ahead and banish the Jasmine as well. So we removed 2 characters, but these 2 characters that are still readied, not going to be able to do anything other than putting some damage on them. So an interesting use of that malicious, mean and scary might mean that we have the combo coming soon. As soon as we can get to 9 ink, we can play that Prince Philip and vanquish these foes.
Yeah, instead of like, there's 2 ways to get value, right? You could either try to get maximum value where you do it all in 1 turn, or he used it to clear out that Mulan, stop it from questing, stop it from challenging. Even the Mulan, is still a valiant challenger because you have that Angel. Angel effectively adds 2 damage to any of your characters that would be challenging anyway. So, or maybe 2 malicious, mean, and scary. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Now we see this Pete come down. This Pete not going to have any damage on it if we are building up to that Prince Philip, Vanquisher of Foes. So potentially, obviously, depending on how things go, could stick around to start drawing us some cards. Because notably, I think the game is slowly starting to favor Kolpos here. I guess it depends, obviously, on what we do have in hand. But assuming, Kolpos has it, like this could start to get dicey for Carrie. So maybe that Pete, although it's a little slow, it's a little bit of a slow way to draw some cards, could hopefully maybe help us find the things that we need to get back in this.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Has Kolpos drawn extra cards off Clarabelle yet?
I think only one card was drawn a few turns ago. Carrie's hand
just replaced it.
Been really staying low. So that is also a good thing. But it's kind of at the cost of like not doing all of the things that maybe the deck can do. But I think Carrie's still like wanting to keep that hand low for sure, forcing things like this vision of the future to find the answers instead of just drawing into them with the Clarabelle. All right, so we definitely picked a card,
and it's another vision.
We didn't love the card, so we're going to go back in, look at the top 5 cards of our deck, choose one to add to hand one more time. So maybe we were forced into that malicious, mean, and scary. Maybe we didn't, maybe it wasn't as strategic as we initially hoped, right? We don't have it already in hand. Maybe we're trying to find it here.
Yeah, or, Kolpos just trying to empty the hand so that he can get value off of this Clarabelle, like we were saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of it's like dicey. It's good because you are like playing out cards, but then it kind of like replaces itself. So sometimes sticky, but definitely what we want to be doing here. Looks like we might have found something with this Clarabelle.
He would love it. You're welcome, honestly.
And
okay, there's your welcome.
There it is. Gonna be choosing that Pete there. Makes sense. Even though, like I said, it's a little bit slower to the card draw, it's still card draw and like a really great body, especially for, these characters already have damage on them on Kolpos' side of the board.
Yeah, he does feed the Angel a bit more, but you do get to draw extra cards, of course. I'd probably just trade into the Scuttle here.
Yeah. Gonna go ahead, take that line so that Scuttle is gonna be banished. So is that Baymax. Left standing is an Angel, Experiment 624, and 3 cards in hand. So Kolpos finally getting to draw a little bit more off of that Clarabelle. And Carrie now has some extra cards in hand.
Hoping to not give Carrie the another one of those, he hurled his thunderbolts.
Yeah, that would be devastating right now. The perfect amount of damage sitting on that Clarabelle. We start off by inking the Goliath. We play a Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. So it looks like we're
go ahead and challenge.
Yeah, challenge to get that Clarabelle off of the board. I believe that would be maybe 1 card left for Carrie. 2 cards. Okay, 2 cards left for Carrie.
Another option there would have been to just play that. Play the Goliath instead and then discard a card and then challenge. And then you would draw 2 more cards from the Goliath. But I'm assuming really liking the cards in hand. So
yeah, I mean we haven't seen like Carrie up to 7 ink yet, and there was like some turns where Carrie missed ink with very little cards in hand. So it could be something like a Hades that could potentially be super impactful on turn 7. Obviously going to be uninkable there. So hopefully, this next turn we can kind of start to see these haymakers, these really big threats that Sapphire Steel is known to do and loves to do in that turn 6, turn 7 range. So we're starting off with that Tinkerbell, hoping to find the Hades and continue the chain from there with things like Vincenzo's. On the other side, though, Kolpos looking for some things, looking for some outs, trying to get some things on the board, starting with this John Silver, Space Pirate.
Yeah, finding the 3rd visions, looking 15 cards deeper into your deck. I know when my opponent plays 1 visions, I feel like I've lost the game almost. Like that many options is just unheard of, but looking 15 cards deep, finding what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carrie just going to be hoping that those 15 cards that were like the rest that we're putting to the bottom, those 12 that are going to the bottom are just not good. Or they're great cards, excuse me. They're not good to add to hand. So now they're at the bottom. So we kind of play with this Tinkerbell a little bit, not able to quest it, can't really challenge anything either.
And still sing. right?
Can still sing. Trying to think. I mean, what's gonna be a 5 lore swing with one song? Because Zeus is gone, folks. We miss it, but it's gone.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Just trying to figure out exactly how to get an empty hand with the dock. Do I want to put 2 damage if you play the Pluto first on the John Silver, or do I just want to keep everything ready? Deciding to keep everything ready.
Yeah, so huge swing there. Potentially got that Pluto Steel Champion into the dock. I think we might have had to discard 1 card. It's a little bright, so it's hard to see the glare there.
I think we had 0 cards in hand, played it out, exactly as they wanted to.
Nice. Okay. So that might also be what we had kind of sitting in hand awkwardly for a while. On the other side, though, here comes this Cinderella dream come true. This is also another form of card draw in a weird way, getting to see a little bit deeper into that deck. Notably, not questing this John Silver makes sense when you have such big threats on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, if you give the Tinkerbell, Reckless, then you just challenge with the dock first, then the Tinkerbell, you get to shoot something for 2 with Tinkerbell's ability, you get to gain 2 lore because of Pluto's ability, or you do the Pluto, and then they have the decision: do I want to use Pluto or do I want to use the Tinkerbell?
Yeah, absolutely. So Carrie here having some options, thinking about what we want to do, because it's one of those things where that John Silver, like, not as good when all my characters are ready, but feels a lot better when characters are exerted on Carrie's side just because of that stat line. So it kind of depends here what we're going to do. Also depends on what we're drawing into on Culpo's side. I feel like this Emerald Sapphire deck is like kind of just like a ticking time bomb. Like they're just one good top deck away from like kind of taking over the game. So right now, Culpos, has been giving Carrie a lot of time to kind of find some answers. Going to see what we do here, starting with the Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. And we're going to go on a quest. Up to, I can count, but Luke's going to do it for me, up to 14.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if Carrie would be a little gun shy because of seeing the Baymax earlier, right? That Baymax does heal when you shift it. So it comes in as a full 5/5 if, say, you put it on top of the Cinderella, which could freely eat the Tinkerbell. But then you have to challenge that Pluto. Otherwise, Carrie is definitely going to be gaining some extra lore with it. So you also have to wonder, how long can I let them set up before they just malicious mean and scary me? So a lot of things to consider. This is a really, really tight game. Even though, obviously, Culpos is at 0 lore, we know that this deck can really come back, right? It has those I'm losing the game, haha, just kidding moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Something like, that Prince Philip malicious mean and scary combo can really swing this game massively into Culpo's favor. But Carrie still has some cards in hand as well. So we got a couple of cards in our hand for Culpos. We're going to be thinking about what our best line is. With, just on a baseline level, are you like questing with the John Silver or are you challenging? Because they both effectively do the same thing, but kind of not really.
I would rather challenge the Pluto so that you don't give the opponent the option of having some kind of trickery to gain a lot of extra lore that you weren't accounting for.
Boom. There you go. Starting off with the Ursula. We hit something,
hitting a target.
Though. That is so okay. Getting that out of there feels pretty good. We're not out of the woods yet though, and seeing a Scuttle in hand kind of scary.
Yeah, Scuttle demanding the Prince Philip combo, actually.
Oh, man. So we did have cards in hand. Unfortunately, they are just not good enough. Carrie, I believe, not able to win yet because the Scuttle wasn't in play. So I think we're going up to 19 if I can count.
Right. I also think we have a judge call right now. So I don't know if the ICL cuts away from this, but
I think they keep it up if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But regardless, we're here. We're going to figure out what it is. Looks like the players are at the very least taking a second to talk to each other. But yeah, talk about Culpos here. In that turn, having to challenge a character with the John Silver, losing his own character in that challenge, and then only being able to follow it up with an Ursula and a Tipo feels pretty bad, even if we were able to get the He Herald His Thunderbolt.
Yeah, this is. We were just having this conversation actually with some of our Discord friends, where we're like, it seems like every time I'm playing this deck, I draw a bunch of do nothing 2-drops, and every time my opponent every time my opponent plays this deck, they draw everything they need and just absolutely dominate me.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to repeat that just in case. It sounds like the judge call was we weren't sure where the scuttle came from, and it just sounds like she put it in the wrong place. So we fixed it. Scuttle is now in the discard pile. Yeah, I saw that earlier. That scuttle went off to the side, so it looks like we just switched our. We got confused on where our discard pile was going to be initially, but we're here. We're back.
And we drew a dock.
Draw a dock. We get to quest out up to 19. And like you said, this scuttle demanding the answer to be, the board wipe, but more specifically, everything demanding an answer right now because we're at 19 lore.
Yeah, and with this amount of ink, I don't even think we can visions for it if we found the fourth vision.
Let's see.
Oh, heads held high.
Starting out with heads held high. Tell us what that does.
Sure. It's not going to. It is going. It's going to hit the scuttle because you are choosing the characters that you are removing the damage from, right? So it's going to be remove damage from any number of chosen characters. So it's a really good way to get rid of illusions, right? And then all opposing characters get -3 strength until the end of the turn. So that put every character just enough in range for that under the sea to take out.
That was crazy.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I don't realize that you only target the things that you're healing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like I hear people say, I'll play heads held high, I'll target all your characters so that they have -3. But
that was a crazy turn. The under the sea after the heads held high. Oh my goodness. Finding a Goliath feels good, I think.
Ari has the hottest hands in the game.
I was trying to see if that was the hand or not. I thought those two inks separated were the hand.
No, still has a hand in her hands. But yeah, I mean, last turn, drawing the dock. This turn, having Goliath. Just Kolpos has constantly been on the back foot. And of course, what do you draw when you need anything else? It's a Tipo every time.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness. Dude, I feel like Kolpos had the craziest turn of all time. Like heads held high, that's vintage. Had to pull that out of my memory recesses, okay? Had to have you read that card to me. Clears the entire board just for the next card to be a Tipo facing down a Goliath. Heartbreak for Kolpos there. Really saw a world where we could bring it back, doing some absolutely insanely cool things. But Carrie coming through, ETB's just got the sauce, man.
There's just something about it. Clearly Canadian. Carrie, my favorite ETB member also, by the way. Okay. Yeah. Thank God. Like I said, when we jumped on, at least it's not Habibi, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, so here we are, and that was crazy. I mean, now we know Kolpos has some pretty cool tech options in their deck to really make this interesting, right? So we saw, Carrie kind of still be in the driver's seat that entire game, be able to do all of the things, having the dogs, having the Goliaths, all at the right time. Whereas Kolpos was trying to do the thing that Fungus did to win that DLC, seeing those Tipos, but unfortunately not able to make it happen quite the same way. But now we know, okay, these lazy boys have some things up their sleeve. I'm excited to see, how we can kind of reassess our strategy now that we know what we're up against. How can we change things to make it more interesting? What do you think Kolpos can do here to make a better go of it this time?
Honestly, I think that this deck is just one of those things where you've got your A plans, right? You've got your synergistic combos. I think it really, really hurt that his hand, it's going to sound funny, really, really hurt that his hand was so good game one, right? Because instead of later in the game, drawing these Clarabelles, drawing these John Silvers, right? We're drawing these Tipos, these Ursulas, stuff like that. That is just one of those things where it's just how the cards have laid and you've played them out the best that you could. And fate kind of decided to an extent. Also, I should point out, I'm sure JDZ out there rejoicing, seeing the Tipo be the downfall.
Yeah, absolutely. Super interesting game. I was not ready for the absolute game that Kolpos was trying to spit with the heads held high, but didn't end up working out. Carrie got to be feeling good. Like, again, this deck is a deck that can just, like, Emerald and Sapphire is a deck that can just do so many things when you least expect it to. And being able to get like a flawless victory, really, right? Like 19-1, just feels so good. We're going to be looking to do it again. Notice, okay, Carrie even missed like ramp sort of. We didn't even get the Jasmine shift off like on curve either, so still able to pull out the win there. And I believe it was on the draw too. So crazy things happening for ETB. Let's see if we can do it again. Lazyboy is going to be saying please don't do that again as we go ahead and ink the ink runner to play that Mulan Disguised Soldier, starting out, drawing a card, and discarding a card. It was something Sapphire went into the discard pile. Sorry, the glare.
All good. Yeah, this is one of those arguments between, like, do I play synergistic cards, right? Or do I play just raw power? Because, yeah, obviously there's some synergies in every deck, but this is kind of just, you know, this Sapphire and Steel deck is kind of just, I'm going to play like the best characters I can play at each ink step, and I'm going to play ramp cards that are going to get me to play them faster, or I'm going to play this Jasmine shift line that's going to let me find them faster.
And there is that coveted heads held high, the super interesting tech spice going into the inkwell. But here comes Tipo once again coming through for Kolpos, this time at the right moment. Okay, when we actually want to see him. So far, pretty standard open. I think for both sides. Let's see what Carrie does with this turn two. Starting off inking that Vincenzo. Might go for the double one drop again.
Saving yourself from Tipo.
Might go for the double one drop again and play this Jasmine, given that resist to the Mulan. Double resist to the Mulan. You can't touch it. You can't shift the Baymax. Well, you actually.
I was gonna say, unless Baymax comes down, Tipo can wear some Baymax armor pretty good. It doesn't matter how much he needs to grow still. He can become a 5/5 that quests for 2 and effectively has rush. Doesn't happen this time. Plays the Cinderella.
Probably makes way more sense.
We also clearly do not need to challenge this Mulan, but it would have felt really good. It would have
been really funny.
Yeah. just knowing JDZ is in the audience made me want that Tipo to be as powerful as it could possibly be.
Yeah, absolutely. So we play this Cinderella dream come true, get to ink a card again at the end of our turn to draw an additional card. So believe we're only one card in hand, maybe. Speaking of cards in hand,
this is not. No, I think we're at 3 or 4 over there. It's over Arthur's face, but yeah, this dock is not what you want to see, both off curve and not drawing any cards whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely gonna hurt. That dock coming down on that turn 3, not being able to get anything out of it, still having 3 cards in hand might mean we are a bit bricked up here. Lots of cards that are probably uninkable in hand is usually what that means.
Yeah, at least one more dock, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Kolpos gonna be happy to see that on the other side, as we're kind of hitting our ideal curve here, potentially, you know, being able to do the double ramp and things like that. So let's keep the good vibes rolling, as we now have, I believe it's 6 ink. What are we gonna do with it?
My favorite thing to do this turn is play Clarabelle and immediately shift Clarabelle, by the way. I love that Cinderella has really let this deck set up that, so that you don't leave your small Clarabelle, you know, the clumsy one, to just get taken out by a fire the cannons like effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Thinking here on Kolpo's side, what we're going to do with these characters, looks like we were thinking about, like, maybe, I don't know, challenging it.
I feel like he has Baymax, because he was thinking about challenging with Tipo, it looked like.
Gonna go with the John Silver instead. Gonna give Reckless, looks like, to a Jasmine. Looks like that's what Carrie pointed at there. And we're just gonna say go. Not gonna do anything else here. So interesting. Maybe doing some setup.
Yeah, not questing with the Cinderella, so that something has to challenge into it, would lead me to think that Kolpos values the singing effects of the Cinderella, right? Because it would almost always be a 2-for-1 for Carrie to go ahead and challenge that. The best thing that they could do is use Doc and Jasmine, but then of course Tipo just takes out the Doc, shifting the Jasmine.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
then singing with it because, of course, it can't challenge anyway.
Looks like we did find that shift. I don't think it's something we would have had in hand because we did have that 2 ink available already.
Right.
So like you said, gonna be able to get rid of that thanks to the singing, right? You can't quest, but you could sing as the
Which
angel.
People hate, by the way. Players hate that. Although, if someone's running out into battle, they can sing to their heart's content. It doesn't matter if they're holding their bows and their swords, you know. Look at everyone that stormed the Beast Castle. They were singing the whole time.
Oh yeah, Jasmine got pipes. Okay, Jasmine got pipes. You've all heard the song. It's good. All right. All right. So we're passing back over to Kolpos here. Honestly, board kind of going crazy a little bit more now. But no matter.
Just go ahead and sing that Under the Sea.
No matter. Board going crazy no longer as we sing that Under the Sea, getting rid of everything on Carrie's board and playing the Clarabelle for good measure.
On top of that, just go ahead and play the Clarabelle as well. So I really think that was tipped off a decent amount because the Cinderella did not get turned sideways, but also what's Carrie going to do when you have a handful of docks?
Well, you're going to play them both and draw 2 cards. That's 3 docks for the folks counting at home. 3 docks now gone. And one of those cards that we draw off the dock being used for ink. So we just got 1 left, only at 5 ink here on Carrie's side. Looks like a mountain to climb as Kolpos is going to play that Vision of the Future to look at the top 5 cards of the deck and add 1 to hand.
Yeah, and you're just looking for anything with lore pips on it at this point, right? You want to end this game and you want to be able to play a game 3 on the draw. And you know, I feel like that's where Kolpos' head is now. How can I end this game as quickly as possible?
And let's see what card we might have taken to help us do exactly that. Looking like we still have some ink left here, so we're going to hopefully be able to do something else before we pass this turn with our cards in hand. Probably going to definitely go on a quest with all these cards that we have. The double dock, not too threatening of challengers there. Starting off with the improvise, so going to give that buff to Tipo there, and then also draw a card. So we're still digging. Still got some ink left.
I feel like Kolpos was really anticipating playing some illusions tonight with the heads held high, with the improvise. Maybe had a little read on what ETB might be bringing to the table, but then, of course, ran into the wrong matchup for it.
Yeah, definitely possible. Could happen. But regardless, feeling pretty good at this point, even if it's not ultimately working out on the game plan, because Carrie finding those triple docks really slowing us down. Ink a Scuttle, we get there. We get to 6 ink, so we get to do something. With that Goliath coming down, gonna be able to refill our hand. But of course, one of these dogs gonna have to do some challenging here.
And I think you have to go into John Silver because, well, chooses not to, but that's okay. I would think John Silver, because you do have He Hurled His Thunderbolt, and that's a good break point for the John Silver, whereas the Goliath could trade with either one no matter what. So, but also, I don't know all the cards in Carrie's deck. I'm sure Carrie has played this matchup more than I have.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be interesting to see if that is a potential difference maker, depending on what we are able to draw in hand. Goliath, an interesting card here, could potentially get Carrie back into this game, of course, drawing back up to 2 every single turn, or even just this turn, you know, if it draws us into the right chain of cards. So Kolpos definitely going to be looking to get that out of here.
Basically skipped Carrie's entire last turn with that. That's a rough one.
Yeah, get that back into the hand thanks to that Basil. And then maybe challenging with the John Silver. Yeah, and questing with the rest.
Oh, I like that. Quest with the rest. That should be a name of someone's podcast. You can take that one.
All right, there you go. You guys have it for free. Quest for the rest. We will be there. I believe we're just passing now. So we know that Carrie has the Goliath in hand. Also going to have those 2 cards that the Goliath drew us into. And we got to draw for turn as well. So going to have to make something happen here because we're already up to 7 on Kolpos' side of the board. Questing, of course, all the way up to even more as we ink the Vincenzo, just replaying the Goliath. Oof.
Yeah, this was the biggest tempo swing we have seen so far in this matchup. A lot of people ask, what is tempo? And it's one of those things that's hard to define. That is tempo. Paying 12 ink essentially for this Goliath. So paying 12 ink to draw 2 cards because it drew 0 the second time it was played. But I mean, what are you going to do? You have to also keep Kolpos's hand in check, right?
Yeah, it would be incredible. The draws would have to be incredible to really see something happen for Carrie here. Kolpos finding that you're welcome, gonna do it on Carrie, and it looks like Carrie's saying, you know what, let's just save ourselves some time.
Let's finish a game 3.
Yeah, and definitely notable here, right? These, I mean, Sapphire Mirrors, regardless of what the inks are paired with, can always go long. Both of these players kind of trying to drag it to that end game where they have a lot of ink available to them. Kolpo's super heavy on the control. Carrie's does appear to be a little bit faster. Might be more of like that Kiwi Birds variant. Might be a little bit more like lore heavy, but still has the like late game threats, right? So we saw things like the Vincenzo, we saw things like the Tinkerbell Giant Fairy. So gonna be interesting. We definitely are gonna need some time. We have 22 minutes on the clock, so I think they're definitely gonna be able to finish this one out. But I think Carrie's absolutely right there and just saying, hey, you know, I want to take some time and make sure that I really have enough time for this game 3 to fully think through all of my plays. So we're 1-1 here, Mr. Burns, going into the game 3.
Yeah, especially with Carrie. Carrie, like you said, Kolpos's deck more controlling, so that automatically makes Carrie the quester. Whether they realize it or not, that's just the fact. And when you are the quester, you also need to be on the play. If you are the one that is trying to quest, you are at an even bigger disadvantage being on the draw than you normally would be in any given trading card game.
Yeah, and looking like Carrie is sculpting this hand here. It's either going to be 4 kept or 4 put away. See?
Putting back 4. So hopefully we don't have another, you know, we've had some ink problems.
Yeah.
Hopefully keeping 3 is a good sign here.
Yes, yeah. We want to see good openers on both sides, right? I mean, I think that's what game 3 is all about. It's like that toe-to-toe, back and forth.
Putting back 6.
Keeping us engaged. On the other side, oh, they missed the Diablo. That's what that means. No, I'm just kidding.
We're trained to think, right? And people better get trained for that again because, you know, we've got Infinity DLCs coming out.
Oh yeah, they're coming and they're coming fast. But yeah, so you know, the altar here could be critical. Kolpos gonna have a little bit less control of what we get into that hand. You know, gonna be 6 random cards there. So hopefully, you know, it works out because as I was saying, we want it to be both players have a good game. That's what makes it the most interesting. That's what we want if we're watching at home. We want these games to be good. We don't want it to be a steamroll in either direction. Okay, starting off, inking of Vincenzo
to pass.
Woo.
Carrie has not had the openings that they would hope for.
Yeah, definitely going to hurt passing there. Hopefully we can make up some momentum on the next couple of turns. Kolpos, though, got 8 cards in hand now.
Yeah, so if I had to guess, the 3 cards kept were probably a 2-4-6 plan. Something like, you know, a ramp on 2 or a really good 2-cost play into an angel or something like that, and then into a Goliath with no cards in hand, something of that nature. Playing Kolpos also just playing a blind improvise, so essentially playing draw go.
Yeah, so both these players, interesting openings here. Carrie now hopefully getting a chance to redeem herself. Let's see it. Let's see the 2-4-6. That's a start. There we go. We get the Tipo on the board. Sail the Azurite Sea into the Inkwell. Another card secretly put into the Inkwell with Tipo. And we get some questing power there.
That also shows us a bit about Carrie's hand, right? Going to be high on uninkables because we opted to put a secret card, which could be any card, of course, versus just having another ink action taken.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely very interesting to see what that means. These players always look frozen to me, and they're just incredibly still. I got to learn how to, I move too much. All right, so we have mirrored Tipos here.
We're at parity.
We're at parity. And we are going to ink another Vincenzo.
Yep. So
Play
here's that
Cinderella.
246 open.
Dream come true. This is a great 246 open. Okay, this Cinderella, so good. Let's see. We get the quest in with the Tipo, thinking about maybe what to put into the inkwell as we draw. Hopefully, get to draw as well.
Yeah, another secret one.
So that could be, there could be a lot of uninkables. You know, we're doing the secret inking. We never know what it is. Hopefully not Hades. We might need those later. Okay, but here we go. Pass it back over. So what's the 6 gonna be?
I would guess. What they would love, I think they would love a Goliath plus He Hurled His Thunderbolt.
Okay.
Right? Inking for turn, playing Goliath, singing He Hurled His Thunderbolt, drawing back up. I think that would be the ideal one. We'll see if that's the reality, though. Oh, Ink Guys are stopping this 246.
We play the Ink Geyser for Kolpos here. Is this early or is this right on time? Talk to me about it.
No, I think this is fantastic. Like, you were on the draw and your opponent had a 246 open. Like, you have just completely nullified that Cinderella.
Yeah, super interesting. You're absolutely right. All of that ramping that we have done is now for naught, which potentially interrupts Carrie's game plan. But talk to me about what this does for Kolpos's game plan as well.
Well, I mean, I think if in a perfect world, he would have just played a Cinderella this turn instead, right?
Okay.
And just kept the parity going. But, you know, when is this Ink Geyser going to be better for him? Because this isn't really the matchup for it. Is it going to be when Carrie plays, you know, a Goliath and a Scuttle and is just like way ahead of you and you can never Ink Geyser? I think this might have been the only turn that it's ideal for him, aside from when he's actually turned the corner and is winning already, which we're nowhere close to. So I really like this play, actually.
Yeah, super interesting. Gonna see, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. I want to note some of the things that are in Carrie's inkwell. We know for sure it was 2 Vincenzos and a sail. So something like getting that sail back.
Sail would be so nice.
That sail could be absolutely huge to kind of help us get back to the ink that we want to have, right? Get our ink numbers back up. So let's see what it's going to be as Kolpos finishes by just inking a card.
I also really enjoy that because of the Tipo, Kolpos was able to ink afterwards. So Kolpos actually on the draw having more ink than the person that double ramped on the play.
Yeah, and it does appear that it was the Vincenzo that we got back. Makes sense. There was 2 of them in there. Yeah. So we do get to play this angel out, though. We do elect to discard a card to deal 2 damage to that Tipo and go on a quest with the rest. So
which I think speaks to that Baymax again, knowing that Baymax is in that deck. Otherwise, this is not a play most people would make, trading their 1 card for a 1/2 that effectively does nothing. Sometimes it can help sing together late game. We weren't close to that, though.
Man, Kolpos, I feel maybe not where they want to be. I've like struggling.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. The plays here of, you know, they're creative, they're innovative, but it's just not really working out, right? Like having to pass the turnover and then play a sail is just not feeling too good. I mean, maybe
but that's okay because you can get the Basil the following turn and you can Basil anything Carrie puts into play unless it's a Scuttle, of course. And Carrie only questing with 1 quest characters.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The one questers definitely helping here. My hope, I guess, is that we double ink into a Cinderella, because then we're kind of also
even more ink.
Get even more ink to really bust this game wide open. I don't know.
I haven't seen a Donald Duck in his deck. That would also be a good one because you get to utilize those cards first, and it's a really good singer. It's really sticky because it's a 2/5. Something you have to be really worried about now is, of course, that Angel plus any other song.
Man, the Louis in the deck as well. I don't know if that's typically there or not. Doesn't look like, regardless, we find anything to play off of, or excuse me, we have anything to play off of the ink. So
and Scuttle is what Carrie wanted, I believe.
Just have to pass it over, and passing it into a Scuttle. Looking dicey for Kolpos here, but you said he's going to have some options now, getting this ink up there. Can we do it? We're only at 6. On Carrie's side, can we slowly start to pull this back in our favor? I think it's beginning to spin out of control.
We also have not seen a small Prince Philip. right? So like that's something we would want to set up over 2 turns, but at this point I don't think Kolpos is playing it. Yeah. So it's only playing it for 9.
Yeah, super interesting deck list. Production, if we can talk a little bit about it, if you can send it my way, I'd appreciate it. If not, we will not spoil the secrets because it is pretty juicy. But yeah, I want to know if we can talk about this a little bit, but it's super interesting what is and what isn't, at least so far in this deck list.
Yeah, it looks like probably debating a John Silver this turn, which does not accomplish much.
Yeah.
It's preventing 1 lore, but then if you ever turn it sideways, Scuttle just takes it. Or you're forced to trade into a Scuttle because Carrie's going from 6 to 10 here.
Yeah.
Again, this is exactly what Carrie wanted to do on the play. Missing a 1-drop, doing the 2-4-6. Kolpos did everything he can to prevent it. Yep, there's that John Silver who's debating. Having to play the Baymax because it is uninkable, which again, Carrie strictly rewarded for that Angel play earlier.
Yeah, going with the Baymax. That was going to be my first question is why, but you said it. I mean, one's inkable and one isn't, and that kind of might also tell us more about the hand. So Carrie got to be feeling pretty good here. Let's see what we can do.
I'm sorry, Kolpos. Okay, yep. Sorry, I was gonna say Kolpos can sing that Heads Held High and Hardcast Under the Sea. So we got to take out this Baymax right now.
Boom, there you go. All right, so Carrie spotting it right away and saying none of that nonsense and get it on out of here. And with a board this wide all the way up to 10, the Goliath coming into play, it might be all but over if Kolpos can't find something right here, right now. And there it is. There's the little Prince Philip, and he says, "Just kidding. I'm not debating.
Yeah, just showing it."
They're like, I take that back.
I wonder if that was his draw for the turn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I love that though. It shows that we're really thinking about it. We're slowing down our plays. We're thinking about what is the best option available to us. We're exerting. I can't actually tell. 7, 8. 7. Ooh, it's tough. Okay, so we're gonna go 10, 11, 12, 13. So Carrie only going up to 17 right now. We do get to draw. yeah. Well, what I mean is they don't win yet.
Yeah.
We do get to draw off that Clarabelle. So this is a Hail Mary. Let's see what Carrie can do.
Yeah, inking the little Philip is telling me we might only have one piece. Not the trading card game, the one piece to the puzzle. Because if we had either a Malicious Me and Scary or a Prince Philip, the Hail Mary was probably that we need to shift and do it. We're just going to ignore that there was a dock into a He Hurled His Thunderbolt.
Goodness.
Carrie just had absolutely everything. Again, there's something in the water up there because this is clearly Canadian. Just ruining people's day.
Insane. Carrie gets to discard a card, put 2 damage on the Clarabelle, and then find with the dock that He Hurled His Thunderbolt. We're passing it back over to Kolpos. Has to just basically wipe this whole board. We just gotta see the whole board gone.
Raging Storm stat. That would be a disqualification, but at least they would clear this board. Also, Carrie has to be so excited. Still didn't miss that Goliath trigger. Just like, yeah, just in case, I'll refill my hand again this turn.
Oh my goodness, absolutely dirty. We start off with the Vision of the Future, but I don't even know that we have enough ink to make anything happen.
Yeah. I think this is semantics at this point. Carrie really just doing everything Carrie wanted to do the entire game.
And there it is. So it looks like ETB, man, they just cannot be taken down. They are trying to be your champion of the ICL once again. Lazyboys coming in with the super spicy Emerald and Sapphire deck list, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. The top decks really weren't going their way, but also Carrie piloting it super, super well.
Yeah, I really feel like Kolpos was expecting to either play against dogs or some kind of Amethyst style deck, right? And probably just ran into a really, for him, weird matchup. So unfortunate, but I think those were great games, actually. Like, that was really fun. That was really fun to commentate.
Yeah, super, super interesting games. I just dropped the deck list over to you. I want to see if we can kind of, as we got some time, as we find some other matches, talk about anything that's interesting here. So for the folks at home, we had 2 heads held high, 2 stopped chaos in his tracks. We didn't even see that. Okay, that Ursula Deceiver that we saw, that was a one-off. There's a bend to my will in this deck. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the Lewis also makes me feel like looking to run into dogs or something that has Genie in it.
Wait, that Baymax was only a one of, and we saw it every game? That's crazy.
We might not have saw it one of the games, but we kept talking about it for sure.
Okay.
That is, funny enough, the power of one-ofs, because if I'm Carrie, I'm playing around that, and statistically, you shouldn't have been, but I'm playing around that the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we're jumping into another game. We've got Impact TCG versus Team Triad. On one side, Automatic, looking like they're on Sapphire and Amethyst. On the other side, another Emerald and Sapphire, Dan or Roscoe. So going to try to catch up with the board states. Not sure if the lore is accurate and all those things. Looks like it, though. Looks like we are 2-0 on the board here as this Basil comes down.
Yeah, I also, I love that this Cinderella puts the ink into play readied. A lot of people, I feel like, miss that for some reason, and it works perfectly with this Basil.
Yeah, absolutely. Super interesting little inclusion there. Not the typical Basil that we usually see. Okay, this one is interesting. I don't know that I usually see this one played.
Yeah. It's definitely tech for dogs or control matchups, because it does allow you, kind of like how Baymax would have, it allows you to go ahead and sting that Under the Sea really early in the game. Joey identifying, I don't want to discard a card every single turn of the game. I'm just going to let you get 2 more ink, which I would do the same exact thing. It feels bad, but that's another one of those you got to eat your vegetables type thing.
Yeah, and this Let It Go going to come down. We do have to pay the full price for it. No singing available to us, but we got to get that Basil Disguise Detective off the board. So like we said, this is not the normal Basil. This one is during your turn. Whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you can pay 1 to have chosen opponent choose and discard a card. So that's why when you're talking about that ink coming in from Tinkerbell being, or excuse me, from Cinderella being readied, makes a huge difference. So we got to get that up out of here. But on the other side, Dan's still having some pretty menacing things here with this Pete being here boosted.
Yeah, also boosted the Pete, could have not boosted the Pete, played the Prince Philip, and then only boosted it for 1 the following turn, valuing looking at an extra card more than the Prince Philip himself.
Yeah, always super interesting to see what these little, it's like these little micro decisions that slowly kind of help you figure out what is in the hand. So super nice catch there. On the other side, Automatic only going to be playing a Genie and Woodchuck's Guidebook as well. So potential card draw later on. We do boost this Pete and look at it. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I had to guess, being on 9 ink, I would guess Dan has half of the Prince Philip combo. And realizing, if I just get 1 more shot of finding the Malicious Me and Scary or the Prince Philip, I'm going to wipe Joey's entire board, and that could end the game on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start with that Pete, looking at 2 cards, get to add 1 to hand, and then we play out a Clarabelle, but we do not get to banish that Woodchuck's Guidebook there.
Yeah, I also love. Yeah, that's.
Did we forget?
That's something that I wouldn't have pointed out, but yeah, could have banished the guidebook. I was gonna say I absolutely love that Joey gets to now use this guidebook to make the Royal Guard huge. To use the Royal Guard and the Tipo to take out the Pete.
Hey, it's relevant. We forget that the Clarabelle can do that.
No, you're absolutely right. I get told sometimes I'm too negative and shouldn't point out all the mistakes.
Oh well,
It's okay.
I didn't say it was a mistake. I just said we didn't do it. But here we go. We have the Hades coming in, looking for a deal, and we do. I think we accept the deal. I'm always trying to figure out whether or not it means we take it or not. But look at
he hit
that Pete.
He hit the malicious off the boosted Pete. Of course, folks at home, we don't have to tell the regular viewers of the ICL. You guys are all smart. Boosting is a random card, right? You can just pretend it came from the bottom of the deck. You weren't going to draw it anyway.
So just got a little unlucky there is really all that means.
Yeah.
But we do play Vision of the Future saying, okay, ouch, that's all right. I can look at more cards and try to find what I'm looking for as we add one to hand. We've got 3 cards in hand now. Looking at an evasive threat and a Hades on the other side. That Blurple player slowly kind of getting up to that magic number with the ink, right? So we want to start to do some important things. Warded character, good start.
Yeah, I mean, Demona would be really nice here, right? Because Dan would only draw 1 card. It would deal with that warded character that's in play because we have things to challenge it. This is another classic example of synergistic, like highly synergistic deck in Emerald Sapphire, like we said, finding it into the unknown versus the best cards in the game. Obviously, there are synergies, but it is just I'm playing these 2 colors, and these are the best cards in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of best cards, I don't know if it's the best, but it is a tech of Wasabi on the other side for automatic. Super interesting there.
I would love to see him Wasabi his own. There's the Prince Phil coming.
There's the Prince.
I'd love to see him Wasabi his own Woodchuck guidebook for the win.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a sneaky one people don't think about.
A lot of people forget the Wasabis. They do give a lure to the player that gets their item banished. Look at this response.
And there's a Hades.
We have the Hades Infernal Schemer coming in to vanquish.
Right into a Clarabelle.
This is great. This is back-to-back banger cards on either side of the board here. We're gaming, folks. We're gaming on the ICL on a Wednesday. Who's going to come out on top as we're 5-5? Nothing but haymakers on the other side.
I mean, okay, it's nice. Not exactly what you want against a Clarabelle, right? Yeah, go ahead and draw those 2 cards. I will also draw those 2 cards, unless he draws a Let It Go.
Unless we draw the Let It Go. Automatic is looking so good here. This is absolutely incredible. The sequencing of like both of these like back and forth turns has been absolutely crazy. Okay, let's see if Dan can keep the energy and use all that ink to make something just as crazy happen on their turn.
Well, it looks like they're going to look at 5 cards and see if they can do just that. Because, Joey is so far ahead right now on board. It's clearly taking more game action.
Yeah, absolutely. No, super ahead. I mean, like the back and forth there was super, super fun. It was like, oh, well, I'll do this, but I'll do this, but I'll do this. And right now, automatic's looking pretty good. We did get to draw, look 5 cards deeper into the deck. We're separating a lot of ink here, Mr. Burns.
A whole lot of ink. We got 10 cost Mickey Mouse coming down. Oh, wait, no, it's a Hades.
It's a Hades Infernal Schemer going to get the other one.
And shift the Basil.
Shift the Basil as well. What are we doing with this though? Are we questing?
Choosing not to quest because of the support, of course.
Boom.
Backing it up and going for the quest.
Oh yeah, we're saying go ahead.
We can support Basil and use our Hades to challenge this Basil now.
Okay, so there we go. Start off with the Genie on the other side. So now Dan's board looking pretty dominating. We're a little bit ahead on lore, and we're making automatic have to deal with this character because this Basil, pretty good challenger, right? 4-5, nice stat lines. So it's going to force that Hades to kind of be banished in this challenge. Automatic looking like he's going to take that trade though, and use that support ability on that Basil to give the +2 to the Hades and challenge in.
Yeah, I don't think I would have taken that if I'm Dan because, I mean, maybe he's thinking about the clock a little bit, but just being able to another just absolute haymaker out of nowhere, being able to just make your opponent discard a card every single turn. By the way, Genie on the other side would be a great nickname for this Genie. I know you said it on accident, but it does draw a card. So it's like friends on the other side.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Listen, narrative team, I'm available. All right, give me a call. But we do have the Mufasa. I believe this is the betrayed leader, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is something, a ruler of Pride Rock. Something Pride Rock. Regardless, crazy stuff. Okay, as we quest with this Hades up to 9. But the answer,
and we let it go immediately.
The answer on the other side for automatic. That would have been so good, man. The Mufasa would have felt so good to get off there. You've so much.
I mean, just questing for 4 with 14 seconds left on the clock would have been real nice.
Absolutely. What could have been? But instead, Roscoe has a ton of cards in his inkwell, and hopefully going to be able to make use of them right here, right now, as we are now in turns. So
we are.
Dan going to be turn 0, going to try to close it out at 9 lore. Can we do it in 3 turns, I think?
Yeah, I wonder, obviously they probably don't have the clock right up on screen. Of course, the amazing judges are giving them prompts. I have played in the ICL. I wonder if he maybe should have just quested for 2 and said, go, like as fast as possible. Go. Like quest for 2, your turn. Just to get that extra turn in.
Get out the extra 2 seconds. No, you're right. It makes a huge difference. Okay.
Questing for nothing, playing Prince Philip. Does the math. How many more turns do we get? 3? Questing for 6 each time? That's enough.
The math is mathing. Hopefully, we can close this out here. But automatic going to be saying, hey, knock it off. I see what you're trying to do, and I don't like it. As we play an Elsa exerting. Dan's like, hold on. What's getting exerted here?
Yeah.
And we go ahead, take that challenge. And I mean, we got to play out 2 characters. I just don't think it's gonna be enough, man. I just don't think it's gonna be enough. But we'll have to see. Slows him down for sure.
Playing 1 damage on the Prince Philip.
To start, passing back over. Roscoe absolutely just going on a quest, right? I don't think we even look at that Elsa because we're in turns.
Yeah, if Joey's able to move 3 damage here, that 1 damage really matters. If he has maybe another Cheshire Cat or some kind of bell, he could use his Cheshire Cat to challenge the Hades, have 3 damage on it, move it on the Philip, that also would be able to take it out.
Yeah, I think the issue here is that because Roscoe can potentially play out 2 more characters, if those 2 cards in hand are characters, might still have it. So let's see, starting off with a You're Welcome.
You're welcome on his own Hades. Okay.
You're welcome on his own Hades. I mean, you see
going for the win. Going for the win for sure.
That stack is super, super tall of ink there. So has a lot of potential to draw into something that he can use. Really going to be interesting. I mean, I guess you're drawing regardless, right? It's not a threat of losing really on the other side, so you might as well go for the win.
Yeah, and that did eliminate one of Joey's, even though it is jumping through a couple of hoops, eliminate one of his options of banishing the Prince Philip. Finding Basil and another Prince Philip.
We get 2 characters. One of them is warded. Could be the difference maker here. Let's see what automatic has to say about it. Also, notably, still able to put that 6 lore into play, right?
Yes.
So that is the crucial thing that we needed to be able to win on this next turn. But well, no, we can't win, right? Because automatic can boost.
Oh yeah, we could have moved. We could move 1 damage from the Prince Philip onto the Basil.
Yeah, but I don't. What did I miss? What's happening?
You're welcome happened
again.
Yes, I believe so, because he's shuffling the Cheshire Cat. We did freeze. I don't know if it froze for everyone.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it did freeze for us. Yeah. So
having the clutch, 3 cards. Yes.
Having the clutch. You're welcome to get rid of that Cheshire Cat, because the Cheshire Cat would have prevented it. So literally, Dan, you're welcomed himself into everything he ever needed.
Yeah, and on the other side, automatic just being stuck drawing cards. If we can't find removal here, if we can't find removal here, it's not going to do it. Oh, That's
Yep.
enough. That's enough.
gonna
We move into
force-
the Basil. We're going to be at 19 on the other side, forcing the draw there unless we see some sort of instant
Shift
lore.
Prince Philip. Shift Prince Philip.
Let's see. One card.
Oh, he did just. Oh my God!
He got the card. He got the card. There's no way.
How?
There's no way he had it off the
Oh
top.
my!
Impact TCG taking the game.
This is Joey's last time in the ICL. I gotta look what I gotta do. There's just no way.
That was insane.
Lanta.
That was absurd.
What did we just see? That was
Welcome in,
crazy.
friends. That was
Hello.
nuts.
I was just like, I was telling you, I was like PJ instead of Prince Philip there, instead of PP, but like, and then he draws it and puts it. Oh man, that was absurd.
The only thing that would make it
That
better
was
is if he just
crazy.
flipped it. But
Yeah, he
but
should have just.
My
flipped.
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's insane. How perfect your
Real showmanship would have been just grab the top card and reveal it to the audience. That would have been real showmanship, and an opportunity was missed there. But that's okay. We'll teach some camera presence very soon.
Oh man! Wow.
Flush it
Okay.
out.
My adrenaline's through the roof. Gabe, how's your night?
Well, I was pretty calm until I was witnessing those last few moments. That was
Yeah.
crazy. My goodness. Wow. That was a match to watch. And it was a lot of fun seeing both of you getting to watch that and getting to watch you both cast all these games tonight. Thank you for doing that.
It's been
Appreciate
awesome.
that.
ICL on a Wednesday. Some loser last week, it's me, I'm talking about myself, said ICL on a Tuesday's better. No, we got the heat on the Wednesday now. Okay.
You
Look at
understand
that.
why JD likes it so much, right?
I
Like,
see it. I'm seeing it.
That's
We're showing
crazy.
up. We're bringing the spice on the Wednesday. I love it. All that means is you got to be here both days of the ICL. Tuesday and
Well, of
Wednesday.
course.
It's nothing but bangers.
It's no miss. I mean, there are the replays, but you want to be here live. You want to be in chat when this is happening, right? Like I actually really enjoy going back and watching and just reading the chat because I don't have it up now. Like I'll spend a couple hours after every ICL doing that. But being here, there's nothing that beats it.
yeah, you heard it right there. You better not be saying bad things about Mr. Burns in chat because he'll find out.
I will find out, and I will hold a
find
grudge for the next 3 years, right? And I'll wait for JDZ to call you out on stream.
Oh man, but it's been a banger of a night. So ETB looking so dominant, and then
I mean,
we get
of
to
course.
jump into a super fun game like with Impact TCG pulling it out. It's just awesome.
Yeah, ETB, I mean, they are obviously people that don't know. I think they're all amazing people. This is why I always give them so much crap, right? Because they are so nice, but when they play card games, they're so evil. Like Danhausen's here. Very
Yes.
nice, very evil.
But
Very nice. Very.
thanks a
evil,
lot for
sure.
both of you coming in and casting again. I'm sure
Thank
we'll
you.
see you more often now. And but we got to jump to the third game. And like
All right.
yesterday, since they won 2-0, we are going to swap to another game. So we're going to watch Beefcake and Amadeus, Sunflower Illumineers versus the Select Few. Let's go!
Let's do this. Amadeus, Beefcake, fantastic players. Beefcake, listen, there's only one person on this stream right now as swole as me, and that is Beefcake. Let me tell
Yep.
you what. Okay. So we got two great players here. Can't wait to see what it is that they've brought to the ICL on a Wednesday. What a crazy sequence of games we've had a chance to see. I mean, all of them were nuts. We got to see Kopos busting out the Set 9 meta Emerald Sapphire deck. Love to see it. Blast from the past. I heard Kopos was hanging out by the Nexus, and so he decided to dust off his deck and bring it on by for us to watch. Love to see it. As both players right now going through their opening sequence, making sure that they get a nice fair shuffle, nice fair alter of their cards, and to ensure a good clean game of Disney Lorcana.
So I did hand pick this matchup. And for those who know, Beefcake almost always plays blue steel. So It would be interesting. He is on select few, creates on this team. There's multiple Sapphire Steel players. So, like, who knows? But I think this is going to be an interesting match. I don't know which deck is necessarily at an advantage in this scenario, but it's going to be pretty nice to watch.
Okay, I'm excited. So you've got some foreground information, some information on the ground, but I appreciate you not spoiling that. I love a good secret, and so I cannot wait to see which sequence of cards we're going to be putting down here. I want to make sure that we can. Yeah, it looks like Beefcake's camera's a little bit fuzzy, but we'll do the best we can to see all the things there. Hopefully the cards aren't too bad.
Yeah, it does seem to have cleared up just a little bit here, but it does look like he could be loaned some pixels.
Yeah, listen, I'm not one to judge. I've had my fair share of crazy internet, so I will never judge
that Florida
crazy internet ever. That Florida internet, let me tell you what, it is wild and crazy. All the hurricanes, and there's not even a hurricane in the Gulf. It's just life sometimes.
I don't know what area Beefcake lives in, but we can blame the internet. That's fair.
My favorite thing to do here, as both players, looks like they may be waiting on potentially some judges going through. Again, we talk about this every day of the ICL. We got multiple games running at the same time. We want to make sure all the games are running and starting as they begin. And it looks like we've got some motion, so we will see who gets to go first.
Potentially.
Maybe. Yes. All right. So Amadeus starting us off with an inked Maui half shark, sending down Tinkerbell. Shout out to Tinkerbell. Shout out to Set Championships this month. All these weekends. Different Tinkerbell, of course. This is a Ruby Tinkerbell. Love to see it. 3/1. Very strong. Very good as a 1-cost character. I love this. I love this Ruby Tinkerbell. I think she's great.
She's an above average 1-drop for sure.
Yeah.
There's not very many in Ruby, that's for sure. Every time I try to build a Ruby deck, I'm like, well, I want to do Curve, and it's Tinkerbell and Moana. They're just like not really what I want to be doing, but they're not terrible.
You're like, I'm not sure how I got here. There was all these cool late game cards I was wanting to play, but now I got to play you. Now, Beefcake, turn 1, there was an ink pass turn. Currently on turn 2, we do see the ink down there. I believe that is a Tipo that may be in the ink. And we're playing a Tipo. So we have so much ramp cards that we went ahead and sent one into the inkwell, played one, inked some more cards. So Beefcake hitting that ramp on 2, that critical ramp on 2, which is exactly what you want to be doing when you are playing Sapphire. If you're not doing this on Sapphire, what are you doing? Why are you playing Sapphire? Go play something else.
Yeah, I mean, you could sail instead of Tipo, but one of them, maybe one jump ahead if you're feeling feisty. I played a version of Emerald Sapphire with 1 or 2 of those. I do not like missing my turn 2 ramp, that is for sure.
Now we're seeing Pirate's Life finding its way into the inkwell as we finally find the second color. It is Amber Ruby. I'm loving this color pairing. I've seen this a few times this past weekend at Set Champs, and seeing that Webby's Diary. What we've got here, folks, is what I like to call the Boosty Brothers, the Boosty Boys. Lots of boosting about to happen with this Webby's Diary. You get to draw cards every time you boost a character. It's similar to, what's that Sapphire card that does it whenever you play an item?
Workshop?
Is it Workshop? It's similar to Maurice's Workshop, but for boosting.
It's basically Ursula's necklace.
There you go. Okay, yeah, I like that one too. As we see Cinderella, I believe that is the Enchanted Cinderella, and I only know that because Beefcake loves to flaunt those things. Going to go ahead and take advantage of that as well, as both players with it, I'd say pretty good start here. I think both players kind of starting the way they want to, establishing their board here. Beefcake initiating the plan of getting to a lot of ink really, really quickly. Amadeus laying down characters that have a lot of strength, can handle the board pretty easily, and has already set up a draw engine for himself. Going to go ahead and play Aladdin. This is a fantastic card. It has Reckless, but it does this really cool thing that if there's a card underneath it, so if you boost it, any character with Reckless has the ability now to tap that card to gain a lore. So in effect, allowing you to kind of cheat a quest where you otherwise wouldn't with a Reckless character. It's a pretty cool Aladdin.
Yeah, I think we're going to take advantage and do a boost. Even though we can't pay the 1 to draw an extra card, it's still fine to just get another card under it in case there's some sort of bounce or anything like that from Beefcake's position.
Yeah, and we do see that boost happening in full effect there. Beefcake taking a look at the board, just kind of analyzing the board here as Amadeus is deciding: do we start to put these characters in danger? Do we quest with them and put them in danger of being challenged? I mean, and I think Amadeus is making the call here of like, well, hey, if you're gonna do that, great, great, please do that. I'm gonna go ahead and go on a quest. You do what you want to do. I'm busy. I got to go find some items and gain some quests.
Yeah, Amadeus is just drawing cards, questing. Seems good. Not, as you said, it's like not much Beefcake can really do here. We don't really have a singer for Let It Go. We don't really want to let it go any of these characters right now.
No, we absolutely don't.
That is a card.
That's rough. I cannot exactly.
I think that's a Tinkerbell.
That is a card.
I think that is an enchanted Tinkerbell, and it would make sense as to why the other Tinkerbell was banished.
That would make perfect sense. That's got to be what it is. That's exactly what it is. I can tell by that shape. There is definitely a boat in that Glimmer's hand. I can see it. In fact, it's clearing up.
Oh, right there.
There it is. Oh my goodness! Look at that board. All that's left, Amadeus, all of the characters, all the glimmers that were hanging out with that Webby's diary, gone. Left alone the diary for Beefcake to read through. Don't do it, Beefcake. Never read through someone's diary. That's an invasion of privacy. We don't want to see you do it.
Poor Webby. I mean,
but hey, listen, if Webby's diary let me draw, like any time that I got like really strong, I might, and like I have to read it. She might have to just deal with it. Like that's kind of cool.
If there was ever a diary that would make a good book, I bet it's Webby's. I mean, she's going on some crazy adventures. She's prospecting. She's an entrepreneur. She likes to go on adventures. As we see, I do believe that is that Goliath? I think that's Goliath.
I think that's the Enchanted Goliath. Yeah, that is Enchanted Goliath. It's got a very red glow for a steel card. I always found that very interesting. So it's very ruby coated, that card, and yet it is steel, also very steel coated. We know what it does, and Beefcake just so quick with the ink right now, just had advanced so well, hitting that 246, is now situated as we see the Headless Horseman, the terror of Sleepy Hollow, finding its way here. I believe the only target you can pick, of course, was that
poor Cindy.
Was that Tipo, yeah. Or no, sorry, that's Cindy.
She was just looking for a slipper, and some headless dude on a horse just came over and just hit her in the head with a pumpkin. And she was like, "Was that my wagon?"
Don't leave my wagon alone, dude. Why
you carved eyes and a mouth in it, and you hit me in the face. What is going on?
That's kind of morbid.
As we see Belle come out here, and for those who don't know, when one of your characters is banished on your turn, it goes into your inkwell instead, or it.
Oh my goodness!
Puts the top card of your deck.
I believe it banishes an item. Yeah, but the item has been dealt with. The Webby's diary is out of here. Amadeus with nothing on the board, no remnants of turns gone past. As Beefcake full steam ahead here.
What did we hit the item? Like, what did we banish the item with? Because Belle does not interact with items.
That's a great question.
Is that the Donald? That's the Donald. That's not Belle. That is the Donald Duck. Along for the ride.
Yes, that is it. Yes, it is along for the ride. 5 cost character, 4/6. Generally speaking, you see Pluto in this one. Also a 5 cost character that deals with items. This one though, 6 willpower. There's the epic version. Love to see it. And quest for 2. I think this is a pretty good card as well. I'm curious why somebody would include this over something like a Pluto.
I think it's just for the instant interaction. With Pluto, you have to play the Pluto and then another character. And with this, you kind of just get to commit all your ink to playing it. And if they answer it, it doesn't matter because you already did what you wanted. But you don't want that Benja because you want more of a bigger body on it. This 4/6, it really brawls quite a bit. Whereas a Benja just gets hit by another Headless Horseman. Whereas this horseman came down, did nothing, and then Vincenzo just cleans it up.
Yeah, and that's true as well, because if you really think about it, this deck, Sapphire specifically, is ramping so quickly that at the same turn that you would otherwise be playing something like a Benja, if you're playing something like Amber Steel, it's basically coming out at the same time. except you're doing it with a much more durable, much stronger character. As Beefcake, by the way, all the way up to 13, full on quest. Nothing short of a Raging Storm here is going to stop this from Amadeus' side, and Amadeus doing some finger math there on screen, trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and this is pretty key. This is match 3. Each team has 1 victory. So Beefcake, most likely taking this first game, is not how Amadeus wanted it. He even had the Webby's Diary. He wasn't able to draw with it right away, and then it didn't really look like he had any more boost cards somehow. Like, it was just headless, and that's just like not enough. He needed to be able to draw some cards with that Webby. And since Beefcake had that Donald Duck, it just kind of shut him out. And there's not much you can do. It's like possibly a Raging Storm to reset, followed by a character and a diary. But if he doesn't Raging Storm soon, and it looks like he only has 6 ink, so it doesn't even matter.
No, yeah, it's showing his hand. That's the clear sign of somebody who says, "You got this, dude." So they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna take it to that game 2. Beefcake securing game 1 with speed, with precision, with surgical like moves here. As we see, I'm seeing everyone in the chat now doing the channel time stuff, the channel point stuff. So get in there. It is time. Get those channel points invested, as these players are gonna go ahead and start shuffling out their decks. They're going to do their altars. They're going to jump right into game 2 here, as we are rocking and rolling on an ICL on a Wednesday night. And I want to do a quick shout out to the 60 people hanging out with us right now on Twitch. Y'all are heroes. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here, staying locked in, staying tuned in, as we are enjoying some great games of Lorcana.
Yeah, it's a fantastic time to watch some Lorcana.
If you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit all the buttons. If you haven't already done it, I can't imagine why you wouldn't. You got to do it. Come on, hit those buttons, dude. Hit those buttons.
I never have to advertise my channel because all my friends do it for me.
You're welcome.
And, we picked this match to see Ruby Amber do its thing, but Beefcake said, not on my watch. Blue Steel Fun Police here to stay.
Yeah, exactly. Fun Police is a pretty apt way of describing it. Just when we thought we were going to see something crazy, we saw Webbies, and Beefcake said, no, get out of here, dude. That is not happening. No Webby Diaries, no characters, no Tinkerbell. Yes, Tinkerbell, but my Tinkerbell holding a giant boat.
So I almost think that game was over faster than the ETB versus Lazyboys matchup. And that's Amber Steel versus Dogs.
Wow. That's pretty quick. That should be pretty quick. That's kind of crazy.
So we shall see here. Maybe this whole match will be done and we get to go back to table 1 and watch Habibi. Question is, do you think he's on Dogs or Amber Steel? See.
Oh. And I didn't get to catch all the games, so I'm not sure what was played in game 1. I'd have to maybe Dogs. I'm gonna bet Dogs.
Well,
that's my guess. My guess is Doggies. Oh, no. Why do I have to be wrong? Why can't I be right, dude? I want to be right so much. Both players finalizing their altars. Amadeus taking a look. Gonna go ahead and ink a Tinkerbell, play a Tinkerbell Classic, ink a 1 cost, play the 1 cost that you just inked. That's a classic move here at Disney Lorcana for all the years that I've
quite played. Entertaining that 1 cost Tinkerbell gets got by a 6 cost Tinkerbell.
About 200 times her size, to be fair, as we see a headless horseman finding its way into the inkwell to play Scrooge McDuck, the ghostly Ebenezer.
That is what he needed last time. He's just going to keep getting bigger. It's going to be hard to answer him.
Yeah, steel base removal, of course, is based on dealing actual damage to characters. The larger that this Scrooge becomes, the worse it gets, as Beefcake, still taking these turns, was able to find that Tipo, so able to initiate the requirement here on turn 2 for a Sapphire deck, which is 2 ramp. Unless, of course, you're playing the Jasmine Shift line, at which point you probably are going to ramp on turn 3 twice. But here we are anyway with a Tipo hanging out, not really able to do anything. And Amadeus is going to try to use this moment, this time, to start to situate himself, to start to be able to make a plan to get to that 20, because we know very soon if that Cinderella comes down, we're going to skip all the way to 6. And that is when all the scary stuff starts to happen, as we saw in game 1. And we see Aladdin, another boost character, finding its way onto the table.
And we're just questing away here, not boosting it up, not needing to invest in it yet. But the Webby does cost 3, so we still can't deploy it and draw a card on turn 4. We got to wait another turn. I think Amadeus really needs to be playing the location. We need that counting house to come down and then maybe move a character to it and quest away, while Beefcake doesn't really have a clean answer to it. Like, even if he plays a Cinderella here, that doesn't really answer anything in play.
Yeah, it's true. That Scrooge's counting house is really cool too. I really love how they've added to the boosting mechanic in Winterspell. It'll be interesting to see. We haven't seen any of the reveals yet that have said boost, unless I missed it. But I didn't see any boost characters yet. And of course, there's still many cards to be revealed for the Wilds Unknown. But it'll be interesting to see if they continue that, stream, or
I hope they do.
If we're going to kind of lay off of boost for a little bit. I hope so too, because boost is such a cool mechanic. I love it.
It just seems like an easy thing to add. You don't really like. It has reminder text. You don't need to like really worry about that. It's pretty simple to do. I would like it if they made it an evergreen type thing that we see a little bit here or there constantly. It also makes cards like
certainly.
Webby's Diary a lot better.
And you want people to enjoy the cards for as long as they can and enjoy them even more. You want to look back at your cards that are still in the format and say, "Ooh, that's cool. Look what this card now can do that it couldn't do before." Speaking of what we couldn't do before, Amadeus able to actually hold on to a board here, as we see Ariel finding its way, hanging out with Aladdin, hanging out with Scrooge over here. Gonna go ahead and send that Tinkerbell on a quest. Will Beefcake shut this whole game down, though? We are entering into the scary phase of the Sapphire Steel deck, the 6 cost.
Amadeus is playing around the Tinkerbell, not questing with that Scrooge. Sadly for Amadeus, he still doesn't really have a payoff here. The Ariel doesn't do too much. We only have a couple cards in hand. I can't really think of a song I'd want to be playing that has any impact here. And notably, Tinkerbell doesn't get hit by World's Greatest Criminal Mind. So it's one piece of removal that can't really get it. Yep. There's not really evasives, so Headless Horseman Strike doesn't really do much either.
Yeah, Horseman Strikes is kind of a weak card into this matchup, as I believe that is the Sonic Warrior Ariel.
I think so.
Question mark. I want to say it is.
Comes in and trades with the Tinkerbell.
Yeah, okay. Listen, that's a pretty good use of Tipo, if you ask me. It gives you some ramp, and then it comes in and deals with a nice, strong 3-strength character. Not the worst thing to see here. As, just starting to see more and more scary characters here. Beefcake with that Ariel. Songs being played on Amadeus' side, nowhere near as scary as songs being played on Beefcake's side. And we know that in Steel, the songs are terrifying.
And, that Ariel's also a princess, triggering that Cindy again. So giving Beefcake another ink, filter away, maybe get rid of one of these small early game cards we don't care about. We see a Delamoon's Lullaby. Oh, I think this Ariel might be getting hit by a pumpkin.
Oh, are we gonna see it?
I think so.
All right, we're turning 5, and we're playing the Headless Horseman. Yep.
Who would have thunk that in the middle of the ocean you're gonna get taken out by a pumpkin?
That's crazy. And that pumpkin is covered in fire. You think the water would stop that?
It's so hot, it evaporates all the water around it, preventing it from going out. Let's not think about the fact that the oxygen would make the fire go out because there wouldn't be more underwater. Let's just pretend it works. It's magic fire.
Listen, magical fire. Exactly. You said exactly. Magical fire is different than normal fire. Okay, natural fire follows rules. Magical fire is scary and usually
waterproof,
blue and
doesn't need oxygen to maintain itself. Banishes characters.
Being held in the hand of a guy with no head. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? As the giant fairy Tinkerbell is here again, laying out all of this damage, splashing around, stepping around in that little lagoon, holding onto that boat, and all of these characters suffering from that, feeling it with this amount of damage on them. One teeny tiny amount of damage, not too crazy right now. But if you really take a look at something like a Headless Horseman, it's only got 2 willpower, can certainly become a problem if we play the second
So it does look like we're gonna sing on the Horseman. Interesting. I kind of thought we would take out the... Oh, but it was only a strength. So we didn't have enough
It's a strength
to take out another character. But I actually kind of think I wanted to hit Scrooge there. It's more synergistic with his deck. And he could have put a card underneath the Scrooge and then still taken out the Cindy and have it survive. So if he has an answer for this Tinkerbell, it could like wipe his board, but it doesn't look like we have that answer. So we're just going to boost and draw.
No. Yes, right. That Webby's Diary finding its way back onto the table for game 2, missing for all this time, but finally here. Amadeus thinking through it. And I agree with you on that one, Luke, because this Scrooge starts to grow, and before you know it, it runs out of control. And when you could have dealt with it before, you look back a turn or two later and you go, man, why didn't I just clear this thing? This thing is now a 7/7. What am I supposed to do with this? So Beefcake may or may not be looking back at this saying, man, I probably picked the wrong thing, but we'll figure that out when we get to the end of the game usually. All right, we see the boosts.
Let's see here if we're gonna boost this Aladdin.
Choosing the aerial. Okay, so we're opting for the aerial. I guess we maybe have a song that we want to deploy here to potentially draw even more. It'll be interesting to see if that's the case, or if we just kind of chose a character to boost, just to say that we boosted. We see Scrooge coming in, looking like it is going to, dealing with the Cinderella. Is going to force the Tinkerbell to deal with it.
So we could have also challenged with the Aladdin, but it does seem that Amadeus is valuing the Aladdin more than the Tinkerbell, which I kind of disagree with, because Aladdin's just a 4/4 and Tinkerbell's a 4/5. So if we had just challenged with the Reckless Aladdin, next turn we could have boosted the Scrooge and then traded with the Tinkerbell if it exerts to challenge down the Aladdin.
I wonder if there's just a lot of Reckless cards in hand. Maybe Amadeus is holding on to some Reckless characters. This strategy does generally will hold on to them, and maybe thinking about the future, thinking about his hand. Who knows? Could be a mistake. Both players having to be making some really crazy decisions. But we're going to go ahead and sing the Thunderbolt with that Tinkerbell. Who do we choose? I think it's Scrooge, right?
I almost think we're going after Ariel to try to slow down some card draw, but they're both good choices.
Yeah.
It would be insane if Beefcake had another Tinkerbell, but no, we go with the Scrooge because it's the only thing that can trade with our Tinkerbell, and then we throw down what appears to be a Goliath to refill our hand back up.
Yeah, that ruby-coated steel card, I like to call it, as we see Beefcake hanging out here, now able to start to see card draw every turn as your hand starts to get a little bit diminished. Amadeus going to be put in a position, unless you can deal with this Goliath, the math gets weird. You start drawing cards, and that's not that great for you if this Goliath is able to stay around, because we don't want to have more than 2 cards in hand, or else we have to start discarding cards, and that's a terrible thing to do when your whole thing is playing Webbies and Aerials and drawn cards. You don't want to be discarding cards.
Yeah, it's quite the nice counter if Amadeus was really going off, but at this point here, we could be in a world that like maybe he just empties his hand and takes advantage of the Goliath as well. But I feel like Beefcake wins that fight. He has a lot more top-end heavy hitters. Like his deck is ramp and heavy hitters. And he can still just play the ramp to play more heavy hitters on the next turn, as we're going to draw more cards.
Yeah, we want to see the answers. We want to see things that we can do. We want to be able to ink cards. It looks like we are so low in hand size that even though we're doing all this stuff, at the very least, we're fueling our ink well. We're still somewhat low with cards in hand, able to not have to lose any cards. It doesn't look like we may draw some. It's hard to tell. Yes, so it looks like we've got 2 cards in hand. Going to deploy one of those.
We need.
The question.
How are we going to deal the last point of damage to this Tinkerbell?
You know what? Only the world may find out at one point if we ever commit to turning these ink sideways and finding out.
Because this Aladdin, it's gonna go on a challenge here. Oh, I guess it could just gain a lore
because of the boost. Yeah, exactly.
Or sing.
Because of the boost, it has the ability to choose, or we can sing or rewrite history. All right.
Just no targets.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, I'm like, wait. Okay, that's cool. We're just playing songs because it lets us draw cards here.
Technically, he should have returned that to his hand before drawing off of the aerial, as the card finishes completely being played before triggers leave the bag.
Correct.
As drawing a card there could change Amadeus's mind on what he would play.
That's true. Yep. That's a very good point for those of you out there. The action resolves first, and then everything in the bag second.
And getting this Scrooge, so this Goliath can't really quest or Scrooge trades with it. And Scrooge can also rumble with the Tinkerbell and not get traded. Oh, we're discarding Raging Storm to the Goliath.
I got scared there for a second. Like my brain kind of lapsed for a moment. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you're playing it? You just deployed a character. Why would you play
Raging Storm for what?
Like, oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, I got scared. That's what I'm saying. I just had what I like to call a brain fart, and I got scared for a moment, and I said, okay, no, we're good. It was just me. It was not Amadeus. It was me. But yeah, we see lots of cards underneath characters, tons of them. Oh my goodness, there is our boy Vincenzo Santorini. Yeah, it's got to be right. Yeah, of course it's the aerial. Of course it is. It's already got 1 damage on it from Tinkerbell, and we're gonna send all of those cards, including it's okay. Oh, I just lost the visual of what that card was that went to the Inkwell, but looked like some cool cards. Tons of cards.
And we had the strength to combo with the Tinkerbell 2 damage, completely wiping the board.
No. Oh no. And we find ourselves where we found ourselves in game 1. Amadeus putting so much work in, and Beefcake able to just dismantle this board. This is exactly the situation we found ourselves in game 1.
It looks like Beefcake was thinking for a second on whether or not he wanted to ink the card in hand, chose to keep it, drew a card in to turn off the Goliath, and passes to Amadeus. Let's see, can he just ink and play a Raging Storm? He discarded a Raging Storm. You would think he has another one, and he does, and not only does he, it is gorgeous.
It's beautiful. And my favorite thing that players do is when you're given a choice to discard a card, you always discard the non-enchanted one. Always. Yep. You keep the enchanted one because that one's extra special.
Or you discard the enchanted when they know you only have one and they play the mind game, because why would you discard the enchanted one when you have a regular one?
That's exactly. You know what? That's my kind of game. That's exactly how I play. It's like, yeah, dude, I don't even like enchanted cards. I'm going to throw this one away. This one's
terrible. Only playing it because I somehow don't have another copy of this 30-cent card, but I got this $50 one.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, you got to love to see it. Mind games, folks. Mind games is the way you win at Disney Lorcana. That is the difference between the 50% players and the 60% players. Mind games. Speaking of mind games, we got Aladdin that is reckless here. Going to go ahead and boost, and we'll now be able to use that to pseudo quest if we wanted to, but we got ways to draw because of that Webby's Diary.
Yeah, it's going to keep Amadeus in this game now. And, Beefcake was super far ahead in everything except for lore. Because that Raging Storm just reset it. He lost his draw engine. He only had 2 cards in hand. Luckily for him, one was a Pete. Unfortunately, his draw off that Goliath was a Tipo.
Yeah, that was terrible. I mean, just looking at the board as it was prior to that Raging Storm, Beefcake so confident, so ready, and just that Raging Storm changing the complexion here. Although, the point you're making here, that Pete is no it's not a weakling. That Pete is pretty powerful. It can start to get you some advantage if we can continue to boost and survive, which Liquidator and Aladdin won't let that.
I'm sending them both into it. Even if we lose our boosty, we're going to draw at least 1 card for a turn, but we cannot allow that to survive. And if Amadeus has another Della Lullaby, he could keep his Aladdin around, or at least force Beefcake to throw the Tipo or something else into it to finish the job. Oh, the Donald!
Make him work for it. You got to make it. Oh, There we go. It got rid of that Webby. That thing coming back again in game 2, dealing with the Webby's Diary. That Donald Duck is the MVP of this game as far as I'm concerned. That thing is pretty good. I think it's really showing its worth here. Those of you out there that are watching this, maybe go ahead and pick up some copies of this card because the stocks are
and
up.
he even had the strength to boot at the end there to take out the liquidator to make it that Pete's gonna probably survive another turn and draw another card, dig a couple more cards down. This is looking pretty solidly back in Beefcake's position, but Amadeus says no, I've got all the juicy gossip right here in another diary.
I know all the secrets. No, will the secrets reveal a path to victory for Amadeus? That's what ultimately we're trying to find out here. As Amadeus taking a look with 3 ink left, what do you got, buddy? You're gonna have to put something down and deal with
Duck
this board.
was tired of the burn book and all the insults that Webby put in that diary, broke it down, but that doesn't matter. Webby's friends, they had a backup of that burn book and they're posting it all over the school. Donald, they're gonna know your secrets.
Oh no, Donald! They're gonna find out. They're gonna find out about that one time you farted when you didn't mean to. It's gonna be terrible. They're gonna make fun of you, dude.
You shouldn't have said those things about Regina, Donald.
Yep, that's what you get. That is what you get. Amadeus, though, really thinking about this one in the tank, having to make a choice, and these choices are tough. Finding himself in a position where this may be where the game is ultimately won or lost. These decisions, they're little micro decisions that you make, but it's all these little decisions that add up together over the course of the game that equate to whether or not you get to win. All these game actions that you get to deploy or not deploy, and how you do them. All of these things matter, folks. And Amadeus wanted to make sure we don't make any mistakes. We don't do anything silly here because we want to lock this up and try to get this thing to a game 3.
So close to playing it too, but we want to draw more cards of Scrooge, and Scrooge's gonna be big enough to stop a few things, or at least trade with the Pete. We're gonna take out that pesky little Tipo.
It's so tough because you know Amadeus is like, I could, if I just wait one more turn, I could use this Maleficent Dragon, and having to doing the arithmetic, doing all the quantum math, just thinking to himself and realizing, no, I can't. I cannot live in a theoretical world where this thing is played next turn. I must live in this world where Beefcake is scaring the ever-loving.
It's an interesting spot. We see that Amadeus just inked up to 19, so he basically only had Scrooge and Dragon in hand, and he could have just played the Scrooge, not inked, not webbied. He could have still boosted the Scrooge and basically had 8 ink and the Dragon in hand. But the problem with that is if he drew an uninkable, he's in the same position of not being able to play that Dragon. But if he draws the inkable and is able to ink and play Dragon, he's able to clear this Pete. And that's kind of like, that might have been worth doing, especially now after this Hades comes in, because this Pete is what is going to win Beefcake this game, drawing him that extra card every turn.
100%, yeah. And that Hades may have just cemented this game in Beefcake's favor here, because that Pete is running wild. We don't have that Maleficent unless we had a second one in hand,
there's one thing you're forgetting about. A raging
What's
storm.
Oh,
would be good.
That is still a possibility here. We are turning 4 sideways though.
Ariel, iconic Ariel,
ethereal voice. That is a beautiful iconic. Love the art of that card. Love the foiling on that card. And boy, oh boy, that boosted card underneath it. Probably just as cool, but we'll never know. Of course we won't until something happens.
Imagine World's Greatest Criminal Mind here to take out Pete and draw another card. I don't know if it's in his list. I'm going to look right now, but it would be fire. Do you want me to send you the list?
Sure, yeah, let's do it. I don't know if it's too little too late, but send it. Send it. Let's see it. If there is a World's Greatest Criminal Mind here, that would be so
There is multiple in his deck. There's a world that we hit the World's Greatest Criminal Mind. We're dealing. We're going to draw cards, so we've got 2 cards deep to hit it 2 of.
Okay. Yep. All right, that's good. There you go. Okay, so we're trying to find more, and I have to imagine, knowing that this is in his deck, that's the out we're looking for. But my goodness, will we find it, Luke? Do we find it? What do you think?
I think we would have slammed it if we drew
with the quickness, just immediate, like,
oh
yeah. I gotta imagine it's not. I gotta imagine we didn't yet. But hey, you know what we did do, Luke? We are a little bit closer to it now. That's what we did. We are a little bit closer to it. We drew a couple cards.
Is this gorgeous iconic gonna stay around, or are we gonna see another enchanted Hades send 2 more ink to Amadeus's Inkwell? But Beefcake is still at a really low lore. He's gaining 4 a turn, so we've got like a 4-turn clock, kind of 5 a turn actually. But Amadeus has a billion ink and is drawing a couple cards a turn, kind of. A lot of his cards interact well together here, and I don't know how many Donalds are in Beefcake's deck, but I can find out.
I mean, I don't imagine this is a card you'd have more than 2 of. I mean, I feel like
it is a 2
of.
Like so it is the second Donald versus the first World's Greatest, as we see another enchanted Hades coming down.
Oh, terrible. This is rough. This is so rough. Just collecting board advantage, lots of scary characters, tons of willpower, and just putting so much pressure on the clock against Amadeus, putting Amadeus against the clock, saying, hey, you're good. The only way you're dealing with me is with Raging Storms if you want to even have shot at this. But if I get a turn,
there's only 1 card in Beefcake's hand. We just need to hit a 9 ink, so we've got the dragon, so we're at least answering the Pete as well as a character that can challenge down. The problem is Beefcake goes up to 14. If he plays another Hades or another 2 lore threat, it doesn't matter if Amadeus is challenging. Exactly. That is the game, and that would also put us on this Raging Storm or bust position, but we know 2 of them are already gone.
Yeah. This is why the feeling generally is it could be unless we draw into a Raging Storm. In my mind, this feels a little bit too little, too late. We have that Raging Storm in there because it allows us to reset that clock. There's Maleficent Dragon finally making her appearance in this game. We did get to see her, but she was quickly turned into ink, stuck into a quill, and used to create these glimmers out of thin air. But here she is, a beautiful dragon card. What a great set championships card as well. Love the art on this card. And being able
this is some respect shown by Amadeus, not going after the card draw, but going after the in-play threat of 2 lore, realizing I can still challenge. But the problem is that the dragon trades with Pete.
Yeah. Is that really the right call? Because the thing is, the Ghost of Christmas Future here, able to now dig so many cards. You've got 1 card. You've got 2 cards in that I can tell. A third one now. So we are halfway to this thing being a full-on vision of the future every time we quest with it. And let me tell you what, looking at the top 3 cards of your deck, sure, you got rid of that 2 quester, but was it worth it? Because I'm going to keep pulling the best card of 3. It's going to be tough.
Like, maybe he's just like, you know what, I'm going to draw World's Greatest Criminal Mind. I know you're going to just answer my dragon anyways. Let's go.
No biggie.
And I think that's a Vincenzo just chilling on the side of the screen. No, just answers our character.
Tough.
I have no idea what that is.
That's a Hades. The thing that
the dragon went to his discard though.
Oh, you're right. No, it wasn't. What was that? I didn't catch it.
What's the card on the far right?
We're gonna find out.
It is a Vincenzo.
Okay, so how? I guess.
So I'm assuming it was a team up of Vincenzo and possibly a strength or something from hand to take out that dragon. Because obviously the Vincenzo's not doing it on its own.
No, it is definitely not. Yeah, that is tough. That's tough. I mean, that Pete is getting scarier and scarier, and it's like that's. You have to imagine that we got the Vincenzo, we're getting the answers every turn. We're looking at the top 3. Next turn will be the top 4. The turn after that will be the top 5. Gonna see more cards and see more answers. And Amadeus with nothing on the board. I mean, Beefcake more than halfway to the cause here of 20 points of lore as we see the Maui Half Shark finding its way here
that
onto
gets
the
us
table.
Raging Storm back. And that's going to try to get us that extra turn, as you know, that is
nice.
10 lore or 8 lore in play.
It is bridging the gap there. You see the gap now tighter than ever, 7-9. Thanks to that that Pirate's Life. Beefcake now is going to be put on notice, is going to have to either deal with the Half Shark or be very cautious about how we go ahead and use these characters, because being able to bring back an action, we know there's Raging Storm in there. We obviously see the Pirate's Life. Lots of ways to slow this game down to a crawl to try to get it back into Amadeus's advantage here. So we're going to see what we can do with this and what Beefcake does to try to win.
Amadeus is going to have nightmares of this Pete forever. Not answering it with that dragon, giving Beefcake the answer he needs these 2 turns in a row. I'm just assuming Beefcake's going to get it. Like, he's looking at the top 4 cards. He's got a dozen cards to answer it. But he did use a Vincenzo and a Strength last turn, so he doesn't just have a clean answer most likely in hand. A Thunderbolt won't do it. He needs to combo 2 cards or have a Hades or Let It Go.
Yeah. And I mean, if you really think about it, that Pete, so it's been around for 4 turns. It has given Beefcake the ability to see at least 10 cards, 1 on the first turn, 2 on the second, 3 on the third, 4 on the fourth. I'm not even counting the fact that I don't think we've boosted every turn, so we may have even done that ability more than that many times. So we're seeing more than a 1/6 of our deck getting to every answer that we need to get to. That is just insanely powerful. That Pete is collecting so much advantage from.
Yeah, this shark gets back any action when it trades with something. It can eat up this pesky. I mean, I guess you take the Hades, so you gain that 1 lore off of that Raging Storm when you play it, putting you at 8. But Beefcake has a lot of lore here. We did sing some removal, and now we're digging. I don't know if that was a Visions or if we're looking at the Pete right now. But he's got a grip of cards in hand.
Yeah, there's so many cards dealing with that Half Shark. It looks like with a character, potentially another Vincenzo. Yep, that's a Vincenzo. And going to go ahead and go on a quest on a 13 with significantly more than enough, I think, points of lore on all those characters to win this thing next turn, if my math is correct.
And doesn't have it.
It is. And Amadeus...
The next card!
Oh!
What is this?
Why? No! Oh, no, dude.
That is brutal.
Oh, that's tough, dude. That is so tough.
A card away.
That is so tough, dude. Oh my goodness, that match was something. I don't know how to describe that. That was something to behold. That was something to watch. Just watching Amber Ruby set its feet into the ground just barely, and then it starts to it looks like it wants to do something, and then we ramp so quickly in Sapphire Steel and just completely obliterate the board. In initiating that control strategy that it's trying to do so effectively, that was tough to watch, dude. That was a tough watch.
Yeah, it was a little rough right there for our heroes or villains, whichever you want to classify it as. But Habibi...
Beefcake is always the hero. Okay, let's be real.
Habibi did win 2-0. So giving the ETB the solid sweep against third place Lorcana Loungers, solidifying a first place lock so far, if we can keep it up. And let's check out a few others really quickly.
Yeah, let's see what else is out there. Congratulations to ETB. Congratulations to Habibi.
But
on securing that victory, really showing us why they are the 2-time back-to-back ICL Season 1 and Season 2 champions. And if you ask any of them, if you ask Pandemonium Heart, if you ask Chris, if you ask any of them, Habibi included,
But
it's going to be 3.
Friendly Neighborhood also picked up a sweep. So second place is right behind them. It is a very close match between, or like race between these two teams to see who's going to take that coveted first place for the bestish tiebreakers. There is the possibility that the other division gets a couple percentage points above to steal that tiebreaker. But it's going to be really close.
And can I just say, huge shout out to the crawl that's above us with the
like
scores.
That?
Awesome upgrade. Love that. Yeah, that is fantastic.
I want to act as if that took a long time, but really it was super simple to make. It took more time putting the info in it and doing that than it did to figure out how to do it. Next week we're back on to the lovely world of Infinity.
Tell me. Say it. Yes! Yes! I love Infinity. Yes, please. I'm there. I'm doing the game. I'm gonna, yes, please sign me up. I love watching Infinity games. I'm having a great time with it. I'm having a great time playing with it. I can't wait to go to Indianapolis and play it there. I am loving it, folks. And if you're loving it, let me know in the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to blow your eardrums out, by the way. My apologies.
How dare you have any trace of excitement in your voice?
Oh, you know what? It's been great. It's been fun. As we see Sploosh from Triad, good friend of mine, love the entire Triad crew. Fantastic store, by the way, and great team. Up against Matt Llama from Impact TCG. I love Impact as well. These are just, we are going to find out for you guys what game this is right now. We will be deploying all of the magic to put on there. We're finding out that it sounds like it is game 3 here. We've got Moana and Cinderella, 2 princesses finding their way here. Looking on the other side of the table to 2 Cinderellas. You love to see it. Princess galore. We are at the ball, folks, and it is all Sapphire from here on out. I will tell you, Sploosh is a prolific player of the Emerald Amethyst strategy. Loves a little bit of green purple. That's how me and Brian have connected. I'm also a huge fan of the Amethyst Emerald strategy. Love I know you're both green purple deck, and me and Brian
Florida boys. Do you go to the same LGS as well?
So Brian no longer lives in Florida. He used to live in Florida, and he moved. He moved a few years ago. So, but you know what? Once a Florida man, always a Florida man. Okay, that's just how that works.
That's probably why I think he's
just lots of respect. Yeah, you can smell it on him. You can smell. He smells like Florida man for sure.
I'm sure he likes hearing that,
and he won't disagree. Oh, he'll know it. He'll know that's true. It's okay. So we see just both of these players, so much ink. Okay, so we are seeing that Matt is playing Emerald Sapphire. We do see the light on her hooves, that enchanted cow, and an enchanted You're Welcome to boot. Brian's got to be hating this because this is just one of the classic evil maneuvers of Emerald Sapphire. Deploy the light on her hooves, sing You're Welcome, blow up Brian's hand so that way I get to blow up my hand.
These are reversed. And Matt, these are reversed.
Are we?
Screens are reversed.
We are reversed.
I didn't even realize it.
Oh, no. Brian's the evil one. Brian, you really are Florida, man. You are evil. You're deploying the cow. All right, so we'll get that fixed for you, folks. It is actually, in fact, Sploosh on the left side of the screen. We've got Matt on the right side of the screen. That might mess up
some of the bets, but sorry.
Uh-oh. Sorry, folks. This is how we do on an ICL. I hope you're okay with that. But you can see the Matt, a classic. I like to call it a throwback
this round and redo it.
There you go. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like to hear that. I mean, and Brian, or I guess. Well, okay, there you go. Perfect. Brian, and both players at once. So it's almost like
they are tied, okay? Kind of.
Look, guys, even they are tied, and we just deployed a Raging Storm. This could not be more fair. Go ahead, place your bets. Now's the perfect time to do it. Board wipe. Both players had a lot of ink. One lore each. I feel like nobody.
I might not have actually even started the bet, so it didn't even matter.
Oh, cool. Let's go.
But yeah, whoever's on the left side is having the big plays. When Brian was over on the left, he had the Claire Bell into the You're Welcome to refill his hand, but Matt says thanks for the cards, How about a storm?
Yeah. You know, I do believe in luck, and I do believe that what side of the table you're sitting on matters. So you may have just caused some significant damage to Brian's gameplay here by messing up the karma. Good job, bud.
You know, I'm not a superstitious person, but ETB is, and they have claimed I have a caster curse. And whenever I've voted against ETB, they have won, and it has kept up. So we shall see. And I'm stubborn, so I'm going to keep saying they're going to lose.
3 years of history isn't enough for you, dude. You're gonna keep it going. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. That's a real commitment. That's persistence.
You got to commit to the bit
from you. Every time, dude. Every time, as we see a malicious, meaning scary, finding its way into the inkwell, because hey, we don't have characters on the board to worry about. Kind of a low value card, it feels like right now. Could be high value later, but you know what is high value is creating yourself a nice, strong draw engine in the form of Light on Our Hooves. And my friends, say hello to the Ink Geyser, okay? Because now we're really going to get the strong crazy reset. As all of these players, these two players, going to go all the way down to 3 ink rather, and a ton of cards in hand, which, yikes, okay?
I think that undoes your theory that the left side is better.
Yeah, I apologize immensely for what I said. I take it all back, every word of it.
Brian's like, oh, you're going to banish all my characters? How about I banish all your ink, bruh?
Bet. Brian said bet. Let's do this.
Let's see who has the more impactful play.
Goodness. This is crazy.
Now,
I gotta say, this style of play is nut. It's just so nutty. Ink Geyser's crazy. Bend to My Will is crazy. Clarabelle's crazy. Everything about this is just nuts.
Matt, though, had a world's greatest criminal mind to answer this Clarabelle, that would be pretty good too. It would almost just reset the game. And
it would.
This is 2 matches in a row that we're just like, where's the world's greatest? Please.
Yeah, now I will say, if you don't have world's greatest, I feel like 2 sales is a pretty close second to what I would want to see after Ink Geyser. We're gonna skip all the way up.
Kind of.
Do we? Oh yeah, sure. We kind of do with the TPO. We just went from 3 to 8, Luke. 3 to 8 in a single leap. That is crazy.
I mean, that's pretty good. And you're definitely going to have less cards in hand than your opponent. The only issue is maybe singing your welcome on the TPO. But even then, we went through a lot of cards. We did replace the cards on the sales, but we got to ink them of sorts. This game is not over. Yet it looked over. Cindy's pretty good.
Cindy is solid here. I mean, when you play that Ink Geyser, ultimately what you're trying to do is not let your opponent do what Matt just did and do what Matt did if you're the Ink Geyser player. So Matt kind of said, okay, let's play this game. Let's blow this popsicle stand and see what happens. And so that's what we did. We played a bunch of ink. Brian trying to match that by playing the Cinderella, trying to see if we can establish our own ink. But Matt is actually beating Brian at his own game of this Ink Geyser, which is kind of crazy.
If he played another Ink Geyser there and then inked.
Oh my God. What a monster. That'd be a monster.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be so good. But not yet, though. Matt is going to go ahead and take advantage of the ink while we can. And we do have 7. That is a Hades. And we're going to help Brian get a little bit more ink. But you know what?
We kind of just reset. We just went back a couple of turns. We're almost at equal-ish ink. The Cindy plus the Hades kind of makes up for the double sale TPO.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, these games they tend to run long for this reason. You are effectively doing a true reset of the game. Not even in something like a board wipe is that actually an actual reset of the game, because you've got so many resources. But clearing out the ink while you have no characters on board, which by the way, sending a John Silver into the inkwell, kind of unfortunate here. That's a pretty good card, but hey, choosing to ink here means you probably got something.
I'm kind of interested to see what we're gonna play, because I don't think Clarabelle's drawing cards here either. It could just be a Basil for.
Brian choosing to play You're Welcome. Gonna send that Hades back into the deck. Going to allow Matt to draw 2 cards here. Could be scary if we give Matt those cards again or give even more answers. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do, even if you don't have a Clarabelle down, because we just want to try to keep control of this board.
That's really interesting that we sang that. So it means that we don't really have anything else to do with our ink, and we're just clearing off the Tipo. We're like, no, I'm not letting you gain random lore. I'm keeping your lore at nothing if able. I kind of want a quest there. I don't know. Like, I do want to win the game, and a lore here or there matters on both sides. And Moana coming down.
Moana's so good in this matchup, especially if you're worried about another ink geyser coming in. Will help you to kind of re-establish that ink again. So Moana, really, really good card here. Going to go ahead and play I believe that's Nakoma.
Yeah. Fantastic with Ohana means family. And I'm pretty sure we saw a couple more cards in Spoiled that go pretty well with Ohana. I do believe Zipper being a 0/6, just wait for Ohana traps in that regard. I think there's a couple different cards that are pretty key for Ohana being good. And, Ohana came out of the gate at like $15, jumped up to $20, and now it's back around the $15 range, and it sees almost no play.
Yeah. The one deck it saw playing, which is what we're seeing here on stream, this Amber Sapphire pairing, it kind of came out of the gates hot. Everybody was excited. It was the shiny new toy, and then we had a couple of major events, and it seemed to slowly drift into like B tier status and kind of
back though.
Didn't really do what it expected, but it does seem to be coming back.
And so the question is, like, are people holding on? Like, did people buy them, get burned, and then they're like, I'm not going to sell it, and then rebuy it later when it spikes? The potential on Ohana is very high, and I think a lot of people see that. A couple people have sold out on them, but in general, I think it's pretty good still. Like, it just doesn't have the shell. And if we get that shell, how expensive is it going to get if it's still $15 when it's not seeing play? Is it going to be $40, $50 if it sees a lot of play? Like, Rapunzel was $50 when it saw a lot of play.
Yeah. I mean, Angel is so expensive right now. Angel is I think, still floating around in that ballpark. So it's not unheard of. We've seen other cards do it too. Dumbo in its heyday was riding that high for a very long time, was riding at that price point. So, Ohana means family. It lets you draw a ton of cards, and whenever you can do that, I think that's definitely a component of a winning strategy. So if you want to play,
there's a little bit of a lull on some of the prices. Angels down to only $34, Dumbo $33, Cindy $30, Demona down to $25, Hades at $15, Rapunzel, one of the best characters ever printed, is down to $15, and that's kind of up. I think she was down to like 6 or 7, but her ability to just do things in Infinity is just peak.
Yeah. Now's the time to get them. If you're prepping for Indianapolis, now is the time to get them, because as we get closer to the event, you might want to start considering it, because those prices will start to rise.
And Ohana at 14, Shark at 13, Moana only 12. She also kind of saw a lot of hype in the beginning, but is also kind of failing, although still played in this Amber Sapphire deck. When Ohana's not, it's not worth as much.
Yeah. As we see Basil finding its way onto the table, going to try to control Matt's hand little by little with questing, just putting down all of these characters that can start to accumulate advantage. Brian over here doing the best that he can.
Raging Storm
does not care about any of that. It just wants to clear that board, and so we do.
Yeah, and the power of the Be Prepared style cards, it just makes me want to sing, I'm sorry I'm out of tune, but it's so dang fun to do.
It is so much fun. It is fun, and I love it, and I love when you do it. As we see, the Vanquisher of Foes. You know what? It doesn't get rid of all these characters. There's no characters to get rid of, but it turns out Luke, that an evasive with 6/6 that quest for 3 is
I don't know
pretty
about
dang
you.
solid.
I don't see any characters in play, so to me, it took out all the characters.
Oh, just kidding. Just kidding. Punished. Immediately punished with a Hades, sending it into the inkwell. Matt was waiting for it. Matt's like, no, I don't have anything of note in my hand that you would care about, except for this Hades and a scuttle, dude. And now I've got 4 points of lore on the board. This is an
interesting matchup because Matt doesn't have the power of Clarabelle, but most of Matt's good characters, Brian doesn't want to return to your hand. You don't want to return it to their deck. You don't want them to draw it again, but we're going for the combo. We had another copy of it.
Oh, no. Yeah, so Brian not able to just completely blow this game out with 6 points of lore across 2 Prince Phillips is going to have to settle. Poor little Brian, poor little Sploosh for a board clear. Oh, no. As we let it go, my goodness, this back and forth. This is like a battle of the kaijus. This is just monster after monster after monster. One monster comes in, deals with another monster. Speaking of monsters, the Ghost of Christmas Future here.
This is just how these haymaker matchups go. They're going to be throwing gigantic punches at each other, and the player who cannot respond and takes too many in a row is just knocked out. And there's a couple comeback mechanics. Each of them have wipes. Brian on Hades, not every one of these lists plays Hades, and that's good for him because like a Basil here would not be fantastic.
No, that would be so terrible. Oh goodness, yeah. So a well-timed Hades here, and that's actually a good point. You're right to say that we rarely see it. Oh no, that Tipo is not the equivalent of a Hades. Is that a sign? Oh,
I think it's going to be a draw.
Close. I think we're cooked, chat. We dropped the Tipo and nothing else with so much ink. I believe that Matt is indicating. But I think you're right, Luke. I think a draw is in our future here because we're just not able to establish a board and do anything about it. But develop, what do we get?
I feel like Matt's hand is like Raging Storm and a Surfer Stitch, and Brian acknowledges that it could be a Surfer Stitch and is like, no, I don't want you playing 2 characters and drawing 2 more cards and getting threat. I'm just going to answer this, so you can't do that.
Holy smokes. We see the Donald Duck coming in, the perfect gentleman, trying to collect some advantage, but we are, I believe, in time if the clock is to be believed. Whether the players are aware of that yet or not is another story. But yeah, this is looking closer and closer to it being a tie or a draw potentially. And just you hate to see it. You hate to see it. You want a conclusion. Oh goodness.
I know some people like draws. When
When
I like to troll people, it's there. So Division B has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 draws so far. It's not too many. It's like with the amount of games played, it's not too many. Division A has had 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Good job to Division A for playing tight.
Well,
playing nice, quick
Ink
games.
and Lore, they drew with Friendly Neighborhood. And that's like the 11th place team drawing with the 2nd place team shows how hard it is.
That's kinda crazy.
Like you might be in 11th place, but you're still clawing, tooth and nail trying to get these wins. Even the teams and those low positions, it's nothing to cough at. When you're playing against the best players in the world, someone has to win, someone has to lose. But even the people losing are better than most of the people out there playing these games. Like I have full confidence that, and we've seen it, that like a lot of the players at the top 32 of these DLCs are in the ICL.
They are. Yep. They really, really are. Lots of high level players. Just it's crazy to see. I think it's such a good showcase of the meta. It's such a good showcase for players that are looking to get some practice in, to be able to see. We talk about this season kind of having a little bit less in terms of major events to go to. Although CCQs, we did get a good healthy amount of CCQs, to be fair. But this is another data point. You want data points if you're playing card games. Data points like this are so critical for the health of the game. So the ICL being here, getting to see just so many games across these 2 days every single week, and shout out for the Infinity Weeks, because we're seeing even less of those events. We're getting even less data points from those events. So being able to see that in the ICL, I think, is going to be really, really critical to understanding how, we use the term solve the meta, but we want to understand it. We want to be able to play in a meta that we know what's going on. So I think a huge shout out for the ICL for doing stuff like that. As we see Mufasa, the ruler of Pride Rock, don't want to completely overlook that. That is such a powerful card if it can stick. I think both players identifying that all of the haymakers, all of the removal cards at a premium right now, hard to find. So this Mufasa may be able to survive it, but is it too little too late, given that we are significantly in time? And I want to say we are in turn 3 or 4, if my math is right. We'll find out hopefully soon enough. But both players approaching the end of this game and getting so close to this unfortunate potential tie.
Yeah, it does appear that it's going to be that way. There could be a world that Brian gets there, but I don't think so. Even if we shift Clarabelle, we go up to 15. So if Brian has 2 turns, he might be able to win. But the Scuttle's just going to be able to challenge the Donald away. So we go to 15. If we go to 15 and play 2 characters, and Matt doesn't have a Raging Storm, he might be able to snag it. And that gets away. He doesn't have the ink to play Raging Storm anymore, unless he inked after he played Mufasa. But I don't think he did.
Oh, you're right.
But we're not questing, we're challenging.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting choices here.
Maybe there's a time extension?
There could be. That's the thing. It's hard to know. If they had a judge call, there could have been a time extension that we're just not aware of. That's entirely possible. At this point, I mean, this is the only game happening, so the judges have got to be in there, and they've got to be made very hyper aware. If there is a time, if they're in time, they would know by now for sure.
Yeah, the players are not announcing what turn we are on. There was a 1-minute extension on this table.
Okay. All right. As we see Ohanamin's family finding its way into the inkwell here.
Thank you. Someone in the Discord is paying attention. I was muted, but I was listening, and someone's like, "It's turn 2, by the way, Wonderland." So we're on turn 2, but we had the Raging Storm. So even if Brian went for game, Matt just says, "Not on my watch. I'm taking this draw, or I'm winning. I'm not giving it up."
Oh goodness, yeah, it's rough to see. Brian's got to be just really upset. So they were on turn 2, which means now they're on turn 3. All right, Brian's going to go ahead and it looks like deploy a Hades here, saying, okay, well, you know what? Then we'll play your game. We'll just continue to lay these haymakers down, send these characters into the inkwell. Do we have anything else?
So Impact has actually won this match. This game 3 is just for pride and tie breaks to try to get there.
Well, I'd say it's for more than pride, because I will tell you that every single point matters in the ICL.
Yeah, and
as we see the Clarabelle and the Cindy coming
Impact is in 10th place and Triad is in 7th. And we watched Select Few just win, and they were in 8th, so they're going to jump over Triad. And Impact here might jump over Salty Ducks because Salty Ducks got swept. So if Impact wins, that's going to put them right next to Triad, to the point where, like, in 2 more rounds that we have after, or 3 more rounds of this, like, this match very well could be deciding who gets that 8th place spot and who gets skipped over. But, you know, I'm sure both of them want to get in. Maybe there's a world they still both get in. It's really close.
It is, and you know, it's funny. Like, a lot of players out there that are watching this, they're thinking of this as a traditional tournament style with what you'd expect. But one of the things that tends to happen when you're playing round robin, or not tends to happen, one of the things that tends to not happen is teams do not perform intentional draws. Like, intentional drawing
that does not happen.
Insane thing to do It is insane to do. You cannot do it. It is going to hurt you. It's going to completely destroy your ability to be successful in the tournament. And so that's one of the things I love about the ICL is that you cannot do that. You have to play all the way through because every point matters, and you can be very easily jumped. So you're punished for making decisions like that, and that's what you want to see, which is why every single game matters all the way to the end of the season, all the way through, as we see
it goes to a draw.
I believe that was a tie. Yeah, it was a draw. So there you go. We got to the draw that we expected to see. But the feature match of the night was, of course, the Lazyboys versus ETB Enter the Battlefield. Huge shout out and congratulations to Enter the Battlefield for their victory, but not to be overshadowed. Thank you all so much, and congratulations for just some great games overall, Lazyboys. We love watching the games that y'all play, and we want to thank you again for being a part of the ICL playing here. And
Lazyboys are still up there. Like they were in third place before this week. Even if they get a loss, they are gonna be either tie. It might be a 3-way tie for third through fifth place. Because fourth, fifth, and sixth each have 4 wins, and the Lazyboys have 5. So there could be up to 4 teams with 5 wins here, depending. But ETB solidly in first place with a 7-1, and and the Friendly Neighborhood, I do believe, going to a 6-1-1. My brain was not working. I was like,
there you
these
go.
don't add to the same number, but they clearly do.
See, you also had a brain fart. Love to see it. I had one too.
But
my goodness, what
some fantastic Lorcana here tonight. And one thing that I hadn't really announced yet before, and people who follow the channel will get a notification later, I'm going to be doing a new thing where we're going to be replaying past ICL matches are going to be playing overnight. So our EU viewers or our third shift workers here, you'll be able to watch some previous ICL action on a random repeat, get to see some. I mean, I don't even remember what set we were in when the ICL started. Some set or season 1 games. I mean, that's going to be. I almost don't want to show them because I'm sure the production level's terrible. I had audio issues every week. I feel like we were babies. We were just little babes.
But those were the good times. Those were fun. You got to embrace the good times. You know, you gotta be grateful for those moments. And I'm glad to see. Look at the zoologists in the chat. Back in the day, they were fun. They were a ton of fun. And you get to see me playing a bunch of games. And every time I was on stream, I lost. So you'll love to see that. That was always my favorite thing. Is I would lose every time I was on stream.
That's one of the joys of casting.
So much fun.
I can't lose.
Yeah. You'd be surprised, though. I don't know. Sometimes you say something silly, or I say something silly.
And I can look like a fool, but I don't lose a game.
Yeah, I just O2'd there. Like that's like the caster version of an O2.
True. Like all my predictions were wrong. Oh, I said one thing, they did something else. I mocked it, and then they made me look bad. Yeah, they were right,
and I was dumb.
It's like I'm thinking it even happened in round 1 where I was like, I don't know about this play, and then they played, or I was like, oh, if I was Dan, I might have done this, and then Dan didn't do it, and then like halfway through the other turn, I was like, oh, but Dan could be playing around this, and then they had it, so Dan like properly played around how he could have gotten blown out, and I'm like, and this is why I'm in the booth, friends. This is why I'm in the booth.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nobody look at the golden Mickey over here.
I sold it, and all of a sudden I lost my power to be able to like predict things. I needed it. I needed it.
That's terrible. You didn't realize it at the time, but
I've still got the trophy. Hopefully that I can get some good luck out of that. Maybe I'll all right. I'll just win another Mickey come infinity time.
Yeah, just easy. It's gonna be impressive. Well, you know what? I think I'm cool if you're sitting on the stage with me, so that'd be pretty cool. You know what? You can win a Mickey too.
I'll happily beat you in the top 4.
I would be smiling the entire. Are you kidding me? I'd be smiling the whole time, dude. I would not even. I'd be like, "This is the coolest moment of my life. I'm fine."
It's very surreal.
That'd be great.
I'll tell you that. I don't know.
I can imagine. You know what I'm not excited about if that ever happens to me is crying in front of people. I don't know.
Yeah, about that. I think I've cried on camera twice, trying to thank my wife and son
Oh, that would send me. That would send me for sure.
Definitely. Like, and I'm not even that emotional of a person, but like something like that, I don't know what it is. It's weird. I don't know. But some fantastic matches today. I do believe we're gonna raid somebody, unless there's anything you want to chit chat about.
Let's do it.
We could check really quickly to see if there was any late night spoilers.
Ooh. You want to do that real quick? I don't mind. I've been trying to keep an eye on them. I don't think I've seen any
Two-cost uninkable Goofy.
live.
When this character quests, if you played another character, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character or location. So it's like a Hans.
What?
That's a 2-drop uninkable that you have to play another character. I think that's fairly decent. It's not terrible. It's not amazing. If there's a lot of 1 will-powered characters, I think it could do some work. Oh, they showed Andy's room.
Oh, we got Andy's room. We got Andy's room, folks. We got Andy's room. 3-cost inkable move for 2. It has 8 willpower. The name of the ability is called Andy's Favorite. While you have only 1 character here, they get +2 willpower and +1 lore. That's an interesting ability.
It does have a lot of willpower. Like it is for 3 costs with 8 and 1 lore pip. And then moving 2 to move to it's like not that unreasonable to gain 1 more lore. I don't think that's that bad. And then there's the evasive 4-cost 2/5. It's in another language. It's called Grayton Molleret. I think it's something mole.
It's the mole. I believe it's the mole man.
The mole man
is what his name is. Yeah, I believe it's the mole man.
And it is an evasive 2/5 that when he quests, you may draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards. Kronk stock anybody? Like, let's go.
That's kind of crazy. That's kind of cool. I'd like to see that.
Let
me ask you, how do you feel about the Ranger plane? I don't know if we talked about the Ranger plane, the 3-cost item, air support, your characters need support.
Like it very much. But the funny thing is 2 cards I don't like when put together actually are not bad. And that's the gadget that puts an item into play for free that costs 3 or less, and all your characters with support quest for 1 more, because the Ranger plane gives everything support. So it basically together gives all of your characters +1 lore. And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's Alice, right? Like Alice Growing Girl, basically, is what that item is. Except
she's also in the format, so that is multiple ways to give everything there. And if your Alice somehow, if your board survives, your turn 1/04 zipper into shifting the zipper into playing Alice into playing gadget, put the plane into play. Quest with zipper, give Alice +6. You're still like 1 or 2 points away from what you need. But maybe. It's a big chunk of lore.
Yeah, it is. It's funny because those are the kinds of cards I always look at. I'm like, oh, I'm going to build this really cool, fun deck. I'll play it with like my friends, like at a kitchen table. But I don't know. I worry about the ability of it being competitive. But you know what? There's more to this game than just competitive play, right? And I think that's fine too.
No, there's not. There's only.
There can only be one. Son, I will destroy you because it's good for your character. You must learn through this savage beating with this Emerald Sapphire deck. I will malicious, mean, and scary combo you 7 times. And then you will grow up and be a man.
That is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. See, or how about this, son? Let's put you play the Snow White deck, and I've got the toys deck. All right, let's go. Let's play. I feel like that's probably a little bit better parenting.
Yeah, not bad. We're gonna try to hit and raid Enchanted Chatter. Hopefully they don't end their stream before we get to them, but make sure to say hi to them, give them a follow, and you know, if you haven't already subscribed to me, give me your Prime, and if you have, give them a Prime too. Give them, as the JD says, a Prime Dog Nasty. You know, Prime share that love. Nasty. But we're gonna pop over there, and they're going over some of the new cards, so I'll see you there, and you know, come back later tonight for the 24-hour stream or the overnight stream. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.